try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge of name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm, calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.
Hello, good evening, justice seekers and social change warriors and free Karen readers and Justice for John O'Keefers. Let's roll. It's Friday Night Lies and it's the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament. So there is a lot going on and it's been another week of the circus, right? Come on, guys. What in the heck? What do they expect us to do? How much more are they going to throw at us? Our sensibilities are becoming wounded, right? We always see it's just constant one-upsmanship on both sides, which I don't blame either side. They're both trying to state their case and get all their pre-trial motions in, right, before the judge, Bev, who just gets wickeder by the minute. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I think Bev, we're having a little bit of slow motion here. Hang on a second, guys. Let me do one quick thing. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Lies. There's a little bit of slowness I noticed with the internet, so I may have to switch to a different feature in a second. We'll check it in a second. You guys let me know if you could in our conversation area chat box. If my mouth and my words aren't matching up, I'll go in. I'm trying a different deal tonight with the 10080. Opposed to the 720, I think it was. So let me go in there quick and take a peek at that, just so we don't have any problems. But my goodness, guys, it's been another week, and every Friday we've been meeting. This is our 10th week, it's got to be our 9th or 10th week. And every Friday we close with, what do you think is going to happen next week? And just when we think maybe things will just be more normal, like most pre-trial motion hearings for most cases that we follow, there's more shenanigans going on and more drama, and the bitterness on Twitter X this week If you guys are on Twitter X, I don't go on Facebook as much. I go a little bit, but it's been wicked on Twitter X this week, just extra wicked. So welcome to Friday Night Lies, where we break down the witnesses from the first Karen Read trial. We talk about a little bit about their testimony. We watch their testimony. We all collectively decide at the end if we think they lied a little bit, lied a lot, didn't lie at all. Were they evasive, or did they just tell the 100% truth as far as we could tell? Now, we have yet to review a witness on Friday Night Lies that has told the 100% truth. Now, I think it's possible tonight. Maybe we will, right? So we're going to take a look at Ryan first, then Heather, then Ricky, and let's all, take some notes while we're listening, because I have a basketball game I need to watch at 10 o'clock Eastern. My dear friend Jeannie is a Michigan State grad, and I promise we watch each other's games when we're playing each other, we're frenemies, just like MCAT and I will be when Iowa plays Wisconsin next in football, right, MCAT? So she's usually always here on Fridays. Now, I shook it up a little bit and went an hour earlier, so I apologize, everybody on replay. If you came in at 9 and we're already an hour in, I'm so sorry. I have to see this game at 10 o'clock tonight. So we had to make a little bit of an adjustment to Friday Night Lies. And I will not be eating pizza tonight. I have a stomach ache. So several of us that we're chatting today, our nerves are sort of shot from all of this. I think when you follow a case so collectively with a group of people and make new friends via following a case. And I'm also, as you all know, working with families on other cases for their loved ones on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I just wasn't feeling the greatest today. So I've been sipping tea all day. I have tea in my nice happy mug here. And so I will not be ordering a pizza tonight for our break, but and no Diet Coke tonight either. But you all go ahead and enjoy. Order your pizzas, have your glass of wine or your beer or your cocktail, whatever it is you love to have. In Wisconsin on Friday nights, it's brandy old fashions. We love our brandy old fashions in Wisconsin. So when I'm home up there, I'll always go out with my mom and sister, and sometimes my youngest son will join and friends, and we'll do the Friday night fish fry and the good old brandy old fashions. So I'll keep you all posted when I'm up there next time, and might have to do a short live or something so you can see a little bit of Wisconsin. So we're going to jump right in to Ryan, because I want to cover these three, because to me, and we talked about this last week when we discussed Julie Nagel, for me, these three are pivotal because they do not see John's body. Sorry, John, and rest in peace, my dear friend and comrade, in the lawn. And they are right there. They are parked right there, headlights on for what, 5 minutes, right? Because they had to wait for Miss Julie Nagel to saunter herself out of the house and say, oh, sorry, I changed my mind. I don't need that right after all. I know I just texted you like 10 minutes ago, but I don't need that right now because I need to stick around because I'm probably going to have to testify later that I saw a black Bob in the front yard. You know how that goes, right? And the three are like, oh yeah, whatever. We don't want to know anything about this. So we're out of here. We're not coming in that house, right? So whatever happened, who the frick knows at this point now, right? What is truth? What is lie? What is just something that never even remotely entered anyone's brains before this trial? I don't even know anymore what to say. There was so much going on this week. So we'll do a short recap of what went on this week. I am sure all of you have been on Melanie Little, Emily D. Baker, the lawyer, I'm sure you've been on all of them. Happily Angry Lawyer, our new friend, he is working on a case right now. He's on Pacific time. So he may join us, he may not, but he'll be back hopefully next Friday. And he had a lot to say this week. I was doing a lot of retweets of what he had to say about all the craziness that went down. So we'll do a little recap of that so you can all share with me your thoughts, but we'll do it at the end because I definitely want to jump right into the kids in the truck, because I think the fact that they didn't see John either in the truck or in the yard is huge. And I hope they really push on that this trial, because that's actually, those are witnesses. The witnesses in the house were not witnesses. They were just people who lied and told us they didn't see John in the yard. That's really all. And that he didn't come in the house, which we know is a lie. So, but these three young adults, I think they are the true witnesses, and I think we need to hone in on them. So let me say hi to everybody tonight. Hey, Julie, great to see you. Great chatting with you earlier today. And awesome to see everybody who joins us. Hey, Kara, welcome. And Kara is new to this case since we met, and now she's in it to win it. She knows as much almost about it as I do now. She's been rewatching everything or just watching it for the first time now. And then she gets to watch the new stuff for the first time. Okay, Puppy, keep it quiet back there in the peanut gallery. Puppy has every single one of his toys dumped out of his toy box. I brought his toy box in here and he has dumped it over, and all of his toys are laying there on the floor. So he's having a good old time. So great to see you, Kara. No one saw a body. Kara says no one saw a body because there was no body, but not until approximately 3 or 3:30 in the morning, right? Whenever they decided, let's get him outside, and hopefully people think he got hit by a snowplow. That's what I think was the way that they had to handle it. So Shauna, hi Shauna, sweetheart. Glad to see you're feeling better. Welcome to Friday Night Lies. And I will put up whatever you guys have to say about this. And then, yes, he is. Julie and I were chatting earlier, and he was not having much patience for that. We were kind of doing a review of the evidence that Julie's going to show some more videos to you. If not tonight, for sure next week. She's been doing some amazing testing of, did Julie Nagel, how could she have seen a black blob? You'll see what she's going to prove to you when she shows us that test in a few weeks. So, Cat in the Hat. Yes, Shauna, pink hat tonight. I don't know if I'll have to put on my friend Tiger's hat tonight. You all know that one, what it says. And I put that on. Well, see, I'm getting blurry. I got to turn off my blur. It says FU, full force FU. So we'll see what we have. I don't know. I don't think we'll have to. I don't feel that way about Ryan and Heather and Ricky, but we'll see it once we start chatting about what happened this week. We may have to switch into the FU hat for sure. So welcome to all of our team. I call my social workers, my friends, my social change warriors now that come every week. They are social change warriors team. They are the agents of change tactical team, and they help me break it all down. And you're all welcome to be on that team. Whenever you're here and you want to talk in the chat or you want to come on the platform, you just let me know. We are all friends. We are here for the common good of justice. We want to see justice. There's nothing that makes an ex-cop like me and many other of my friends who are now retired or left law enforcement to carry on in other careers, some have. Nothing worse for us is a dirty cop, a lying, stinking, stanky, dirty cop. There's nothing worse. And same if you're in the medical field or you're a nurse or you're a teacher or whatever you do. If someone at your work is being a lying MNFer and stealing from the company or trying to take your job from you or trying to cheat you out of your promotion or whatever it is people do nowadays, and I put up mean people suck earlier because there was so much meanness going on this week on social media revolving around this case. I'm like, why can't people just say their piece, state their facts, state their opinion, and that's it? Why do they have to defame people's grandchildren and children and pets and houses and the way they look, and if they have freckles or a big forehead like me, or they're heavy, or they need to lose weight? I mean, I saw so many mean, horrible comments just people throwing at each other, nothing to do with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, just going after people because they're supporting one or the other, where the anti-Karen readers want to accuse the free Karen readers of not supporting John O'Keefe, but that's not true. We all know that's not true. Our main goal is justice for John O'Keefe, getting the people arrested who actually unalived him and ended his life, and freeing the woman who they framed, because we know they framed them, and it's the worst frame job in the history of frame jobs. They did a terrible, terrible job. So let us jump right in here in 2 seconds. Let me just remind all of you that Social Change Warriors is a nonprofit, and we are not a 501(c) yet. I'm not sure I want to go down that road, but we're a nonprofit, which means as of right now, we're not in anything. We haven't collected a dime from anybody yet. So we did get a discount on our music video and our beautiful song. So I guess we could put that in as a donation of sorts, so we could say that, but we have not received any money yet. But I am open to it, but only for program costs. So if you're interested in that, you can just DM me or PM me, or you can email me if you'd like to make a small donation. And I'm talking like $1, $2, $5, something like that, to go towards program costs, which are just YouTube, StreamYard, and anything else I need to pay like a fee to. That's really all the program costs I have right now. I suppose I need a new mic, and that would be considered a program cost, but I can buy that myself. So we're not in it to win it here for money. We're in it for justice. That's what we're doing here in my retirement years. And I welcome all of you on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays is that is our Angry Bitch Club, where we vent and we bitch, and anybody can come on the platform and tell me how mad they are about their family member who's been unalived, or how their case is progressing if they're the victim and they're still with us. And Thursdays, we break down the cases more completely with looking at evidence, looking at any video we can get our hands on, any surveillance cameras we can look at. We've looked at body cam footage. We have listened to audio with Kara Veach and the death of her dear husband, Kara. We've been listening to your audio, and that's been atrocious. And so we have a new project in the works to share with you all next week. And I think it'll be really something that could help Kara move her case forward. We also have a new project for Where is Sarah Ebersol, and bring her daughter Cora home to her Aunt Michelle and get the custody removed from the bio dad who we believe is abusing her. So we have a new project to help with that endeavor as well, and we'll announce that next week as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. Before we get into our night of reviewing the three, I just want to remind you guys that all of this hate that's going on and all of these wars that have literally happened amongst anti-Karen readers and amongst free Karen readers, and then against each other, it's been a constant revolving shit show for like a year and a half. This has to do with social psychology, and it can bring out the worst in people, and people will do and say things that maybe even they thought that they would never do and say. So I just want to make you aware of that it is actually a real thing. It's a phenomenon. It has to do with the brain and testosterone and cortisol and stress. And so the way it's described by psychologists is that it's an endless, various physical, emotional, and psychological is how it presents itself in endless ways. Like we could talk about it. We could do a whole live just on it. This can be observed in almost endless applications by everyone and in the research lab. So you can research this and it presents itself. You can study it outside of a lab and actually have people that are studying the behaviors of others who involve themselves in research studies, and it will come out the same way. So boy, is he having a blast over there. I'm sure you all can hear him. So for social psychology, there's the social media, there's echo chambers, and there's intolerance. And those are the three big ones that we are seeing in this huge fight that's been going on between anti-Karen Read and free Karen Read. And John O'Keefe is in the middle, hugged in both directions. Bless his soul and rest in peace, John. So basically, the ability to remain anonymous can lead to disinhibition, where individuals feel less accountable for their actions. And I know you see this all the time, right? That's one of the biggest problems with social media, often resulting in cyberbullying or harsh criticism. And you all know that I have been a victim of that per se, because I chose to stand for people and I chose to stand for myself back in November, December, and January. And it was horrible. I mean, I had nightmares. I was sick. I mean, we're not even going to go down that road. It was horrible. And I am trying to stay away from anything that has to do with that, but I will always stand up for people. If somebody is bullying someone I know or is an associate of mine or a colleague, I can't stand down from that. So I may be involved in it again. I don't know. But for now, I'm trying to stay free and clear of it so that I can focus all my energy, positive energy, on the ladies and the gentlemen that we are standing for justice and for their unalivings to be solved and justice for their families. Now, echo chambers is social media can create these environments where individuals only encounter viewpoints that reinforce their own constantly. Now, in this case, a lot of people are purposely on social media going towards the anti-Karen Read or going towards the free Karen Read. They're purposely engaging each other. They want to have arguments. They want to get into it with each other. That's up to you how far down those rabbit holes you want to go with people that have views that are not like your own. If you can find respectful people that want to banter with you and debate with you, which I have found some, that is okay. That's healthy, right? But the minute it turns to name calling, threats, anything to do with the first column that I was just talking about, cyberbullying or very harsh criticism of you, your person, your job, your well-being, your family, that's a whole different line that's been crossed. And then you need to figure out how to get rid of it or file complaints against these people, whatever it takes to stop it, right? right? So intolerance, comparison, and envy. Now I see that with both sides. I do. Even with the free Karen Reed side, I see that. And that's, I think, what's caused a lot of the shenanigans and the problems on both sides, where they've gotten in these inner problems, right? These inner disputes within their own side. And that is really, comparison and envy is something we live with in our daily lives. It's around, it's always been around. It will always be around, that old jealous monster, right? And that can cause people to do and say things, and it can foster feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and resentment, which is not good. But honest to goodness, right, guys, we have seen all of this while we have been participating in the Free Karen Reed movement and paying attention to what's going on with this trial and with this case. So let me go over to the chat box here for a second and check in with you guys. Hang on a second here. So let's put up some of your comments, and then we're going to get right into Ryan. So, hi, Ken. Welcome tonight. Oh, Ken and company. Yes, Kara says, to get justice for John, we have to get justice for Karen. Absolutely. And the Ken Hathaway family household says, hi, I follow Kat, but sometimes it's a bit late for me. So glad I can pop in for a bit tonight. Oh, yes. So happy to see you. I always space out on your first name, even though I know it, because then you pop up as Ken Hathaway and then I get myself confused every time. So type hi in the chat box with your name. So I know Ken's your husband. And see, everybody's, it's Suzanne, of course. Hi, Suzanne. There we are. Hey, Ken, Suzanne. Yes. So that's Julie. Thanks, Julie. I knew it. I just couldn't pop it out. So it's Suzanne from England. Hope you're well. I'm on my Others Half YouTube. Yes. I'm so glad to have you both. And Shauna, I didn't get to it yet, Shauna. I was trying to eat something and I was watching basketball before we started tonight. I left you a long bitch bag audio. Not happy this week with these interviews. Oh yeah. Well, we're going to go over that at the end before we say our farewells tonight, because I do want to chat with you all a little bit about that. So, Shauna says, Haas long till it's over. I didn't grow up with social media. Don't understand this schoolyard mentality, basically. Yeah, I know. Not most of us, I think, right? So if you're under 50, let me know in the chat box, because I think a lot of us that come to Friday Night Lies and a lot of my channel watchers are 50 and over. We're kind of the boomer and the post-boomer generation X, right? So, oh my goodness, wait till you see what this puppy's done. I'm going to be right back. What in the world has he gotten into now? Oh, he got into some paperwork. Okay, I don't know where he got that from. How did you find that? Isn't it something how puppies can, oh, he's having a heyday with that. Well, hopefully it was nothing too important that I haven't already scanned. I guess we'll find out soon. The life and joy of having a 14-week-old puppy. So actually 15. Yeah, so I agree, Shauna. Shauna and Julie. Julie says, Shauna, this isn't schoolyard. This is the Thunderdome. Oh yeah, this is way worse in a lot of ways. Yeah, than schoolyard. It's brutal out there. It's just utterly brutal. So let's see here. Shauna says, I haven't been on X, but I hear the war stories. Yeah, she hears them through me and through Julie and those of us who keep in touch a little bit on the outside. Suzanne says, what I have found very scary, how many nasty people there are. It's like, they just sit and wait. Right. It's like, what? Don't they have other things to do? They have to get outside a little bit and see the world. And what's the new thing the kids are saying? Go touch grass. But seriously, if you find that you're getting too intense with any type of outside activity, right? That if you're too intense into anything, it can be too much. And then you just need to go touch some grass and get your bare feet on the ground and, realize that life is short. And so we can't get too overwhelmed and too into something. We can support and advocate and care, but we still have to take care of ourselves. We still have to have downtime for ourselves, because it can be incredibly overwhelming. And I think that's when you're seeing all of this social media echo chamber and intolerance, is when people are just too much into it and it's overwhelming them and overwhelming their entire psyche. So, yeah. Oh, wait, whose birthday is it? I missed it. It's up there a little, it must be up there a little higher, under 50, right? Okay. Yeah. At Julie, 54 here. Yeah. Yeah. So see, a lot of us, we kind of had social media once we got in our late 30s and our 40s, but nothing before that, right? Everything was old school telephone, and life was just, to me, there's so many good things about social media, so many great things that come of it, but there's almost equally bad. And I think at some point people are going to have to figure that out, and that dynamic's going to have to shift, where there's way more good than there is bad. And I wouldn't even have a clue how we start to do that. I don't know, but something has to be done. I really think it does. So let me pull this up here. Well, I'll talk about this at the end. This was something that I was texting about, having to do with the mean people suck. So I'll pull that up at the end and we'll chat a little bit about that. So let's get into it. I'm going to go and bring up our first, I have some other news reels pulled up for tonight that we can take a peek at the end too, just reminding us of all the nonsense that happened. It's Shauna's B-Day today. Shauna, happy birthday. Oh my gosh, I thought your B-Day was when you were on your staycation. I didn't know it was today. Oh, I feel so terrible. I got it mixed up. Well, happy birthday, dear friend. We'll have to do a celebration one of these times when we meet somewhere in Florida. Now what have you got? Okay, now he's got something else that isn't a toy. You are something else tonight, puppy. He's got about 50 toys down there, and he's going after some paperwork you found on my bookshelf over there. Oh my gosh. Shauna says, or Julie says, I stopped counting at 29. Oh, that's too funny. That is too funny. All right, guys, I'm going to go in and present here, share our screen, and let's just go right in and let's hear what Ryan has to say. So I'm going to let him go a little bit, and then we'll chat a minute, because I wanted to stick with Emily D. Baker because I really get a kick out of her. And so for fair use purposes, and because I'm an educational channel, we can show her, but we have to do it in small amounts. And we thank her very much. And we will chat about what she had to say as well as what they have to say. And then we should be okay with fair use. I sent her an email. I don't know who reads her emails. I'm sure she has staff for that. I really wanted to get permission, but I haven't heard back. So we'll stick with the fair use, and hopefully she won't file any kind of a grievance against us for airing her commentary for these witnesses that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. All right, let's just get into it. I'm going to share the screen, and you guys, oh, that is amazing. Wait till you see what's about to come up. It's not a very flattering. This is the look they have made. So poor Karen. So I guess this kind of goes with our mean people suck, because there have been so many memes put out on Twitter X and on social media of this exact moment, where what's happening right now is that one of the witnesses that was up before Ryan, who was from the crime lab, just finished up, and there was something that the judge said, or that I don't remember if it was Jackson or Unetti that was crossing, or it might have been even Miss Little, but something was said, and Karen made this crazy face. And because she does that. We all make faces. If any of us were on TV for this amount of time, the odds that one of us wouldn't make a crazy face that they could make into a meme are zero. Are just, they're zero, because it's going to happen, right? It's just going to have, the odds are, I guess I want to say astronomical. That's what I want to say, that we're going to end up with a crazy face, just like Karen. So that's weird that's where I had stopped it. Now you guys let me know that the audio is working okay. And I'm going to make it bigger for us. Karen yeah, there we go.
Because that face is going to be not my thumbnail, but that face is going to be other people's thumbnails. All right, Ryan.
See, even Emily called me. That was going to be someone's thumbnail face.
Mr. Nagel? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like that view. Go back to that one.
So this is Julie Nagel's brother. Here's what I want to know from Julie Nagel's brother. Your sister texted you at like 12:15, come get me. And he rolled over with Ricky and everybody in Ricky's truck to go pick up his sister at 34 Fairview in the snow at like 12:15. Why didn't she go? And did anyone ever establish why she didn't go? No. Why did she change her mind? We don't know. What what did she decide? And then how did she end up going home with Jen McCabe? These questions all remain unanswered. But did he see the SUV that there is timing confusion on with regard to Julie and Brian Albert Jr.? And can we get to that part of the testimony without 9,000 foundational questions about what this man did earlier in the evening? Fingers crossed, chat. Fingers crossed.
We said all
Just
the same thing as Emily last week before we even started Julie Nagel, because we remembered that, right?
I just want to know, like, if you want to go home at 12:15, waiting for a ride at
Whenever you're ready.
2 a.m. sounds miserable.
Good morning. Sir. Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
Sir,
Ryan Nagel.
we want Mr. Jacket combo. At least I do.
I live in Canton.
Witness number 33.
30 years.
And who, anyone you live in Canton?
I live with my girl. Now and her son.
Chat. Chat. Lives with his girlfriend. Chat. 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 Lives with his girlfriend. Chat.
She kills me. She just kills me.
My parents, my brother and sister.
And this is my brother and sister.
Correct.
Yes.
I sped up Lally. Let me know if it's too fast.
And you work, sir?
Yes, his girlfriend Andrew.
I'm Union Tin Knocker, which is HVAC.
How long have you?
Did he say Union Tin Knocker? Is that a colloquial term for HVAC? I've just never heard it before, and I find that delightful. I also didn't know Johnny was a hospital guy. We learned so much in this trial.
You work, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm Union Tin Knocker, which is HVAC.
How long have you?
About 12 years.
So if I could turn your attention to January 28th and to January 29th, 2022. Recall that?
I do.
Do you recall what days of the week they were?
Weekend.
And at some point,
HVAC is heating.
Yes, I
Air conditioning.
and where'd you go? Who anyone go?
I went to St. McCarthy's to begin the night with to my couple, now my ex-girlfriend and my friend Rick. To meet with my sister.
And,
They were all at St. McCarthy's?
Heather, Maxim.
And your friend Ricky. That was his last.
Dan Thomas.
And
I'm just delighted by Ricky D'Antano.
How long?
Just the name.
Probably a year and a half.
And your friend Ricky, how long?
Oh, started since 6th grade, so pretty long time.
And you went to see the party.
Is it buffering tonight, you guys? Does it sound bad?
Yes, sir. It's in
I
center.
might have to go to another one if it's not good.
Did you go just sort of preview or meet someone else?
Met my sister there.
And where within the farm did you go?
This was like early.
Leave a table.
If Julie was at
I don't remember that.
34 Fairview at 6.
I was on the
Shutting down some of my windows. So let me know if it gets better.
And do you recall what time was it?
She's having a fight. I don't even remember. 7, 8.
Do you recall how it was that you got there?
I'm gonna stop it and try to restart it, reload it. There might be a problem with the way it loaded tonight. So stand by, guys. There might just be a problem with the way it loaded. It might be that Lally's so slow. Let me slow it down a little bit. It might just be too fast. Let's try this before I reload it.
She was at 34 Fairview at 6.
What time did you able to get down?
Is that any
It
better?
was a 2018 F-150.
Do you recall the color range?
Gray. Dark gray.
And he picked you up that right?
Correct, sir.
And was Miss Maxson with you when you picked you up?
Yes.
Waters.
As Steve McCarthy was concerned, grab bar. Drinking that right?
Correct, sir.
Recall what you were drinking?
Probably beer. She was what I drink.
You have a brand drink?
Of course,
He's very interested in the brands of people's beers.
Miss Maxson, you recall with him.
I would probably say beer as well. I'm probably either Bud Light or Mick Ultra.
And your friend Ricky, was he drinking as well?
Yeah, a few.
And if you know how long you were at the CF Park.
Probably a few hours, probably 2, maybe 3 hours.
Now, following that, where did you go?
From there, went to a friend of mine. I was trying to get text and went to the hillside. Which is on the other side of town.
Aren't you glad you didn't go to the waterfall?
Yes.
And so it's on the other side. How long is the drive sort of between CF Park and
Right.
When did your sister leave?
And you arrived there, how many friends are we talking
Jesus,
about?
we don't care.
I was just one of the gentlemen.
And every time you get there, you have some more friends.
Yes, sir.
Did your
Yeah,
sister
get
leave?
to the good stuff, Lally. This is not important to us.
Over the course of the evening as you're going from one place to the other. How many beers?
Gosh, probably between
Hey,
5 to 8, maybe. Give or take a month.
And is that a large amount or normal amount? How
I guess the weekend probably like normal, maybe. I guess.
driving?
No, sir, no, it was not.
It's like, no, Ricky was driving. I've established that I was not driving.
How long was it that you were at the hillside?
I would say I was probably there hours, give or take.
And do you know what time you left?
Probably around midnight.
And when you left from there, where was it?
I went to pick up my sister Julie because she shot me a text asking for a ride.
Okay,
And so you were at the
let's
hillside
write
when you
this
see-
down.
Correct, sir.
And then just on 34 Fairview.
Did she? What anything she indicated as far as
She just told you.
where you were going?
She said she was at friend Brian's house.
And is that friend Brian? Is that someone you're familiar with?
Yes, sir.
You know that?
Just my sister's best friend since they were kids.
And I'm sorry, you know what his last name is?
Oh, Albert.
And his house, have you been there before?
I've driven by it a few times, yes.
That's somewhere you would pick your sister up on?
Yes, sir.
And again, as far as when you leave from the hillside and you're going to.
Chad, I think he was talking about 5 to 8 years over the period of time that he was at CF McCarthy's at 7 p.m. to leaving the hillside at midnight. I don't think he meant that he was drinking at all the hillside, but the question was a little bit vague, but I don't think he was drinking. I think that was over the entire evening, the way it was asked.
He wasn't driving.
Well, these questions
so
aren't always
Do you know what the address was?
clear.
No. I already knew the house was.
Did you know specifically what the address was? Or you just knew generally?
I didn't know the address. I knew the street name, but I didn't know the number.
What did you know the street name?
Fairview.
And as you're, so you exit the hillside, get in the truck, and
Ricky's driving. I'm in the passenger seat, and Heather's in the back seat.
and backseat, as far as Ricky's truck is concerned, can you describe sort of what that is?
I was at a jump seat, a crew cab, just got like suicide doors in the back.
And by suicide doors, you mean they sort of
is it
open up and
still
like side doors
garbled?
Yes, sir.
I was just messing with the settings.
there? Now, well, how long was it after you received
Yeah.
text from your sister to the time that you sort of
Let's figure this out.
in the truck and start to go over there?
Something's not working right tonight with Emily, which is weird. This is the first time we've had a tech issue with her. So let me take it off the screen. There we go. And let me go into the tech room here and stand by, see if I can figure out what's going on. So give me a few minutes, because that's the first time we've ever had a tech issue with Emily. We had a tech issue with StreamYard one night, so let's hope it's not that. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to fix something that I was trying an experiment today with the scenes, and I think I'm going to let me get rid of those right now. Might be causing me an issue, but you never know. But if it isn't, it isn't. But I want to get rid of it just in case. Okay, so let's go back to. I'm just going to get rid of some extra tech that's going on in the background that might be causing a problem tonight. There might just be slow Wi-Fi. There might be issues with StreamYard. But if I get rid of all this tech and just go to a black background opposed to what I've got up here, let's just go to the regular background. Now that shouldn't be giving us any tech issues now. Now let me go back to settings and get rid of something else. All right. I was trying a virtual background tonight, the blur, but I'm wondering if it's causing me tech issues. It might just be pulling too much. I have very high-speed internet, so I doubt it. I don't know. So there. Now I fixed those kind of things that were pulling from the system. Before I completely get rid of this Emily feed, I'm going to try it one more time, and you guys let me know what's going on. All right. Let's try and bring it up one more time. See if it's still doing its sound thing. If it is, it could be StreamYard tonight, because we had that problem about 5 weeks ago already now. One of the nights with Julie Albert, we couldn't get any of the videos to work. So let's see what we can do. You guys let me know if it's still bad.
Right, 40 minutes or so. We kind of took our time. She said she doesn't come now.
40 minutes?
You know, you just have to come pick me up and bring me home.
And you know how long drive is it from hillside?
How is it now, guys?
5 minutes. 7 minutes maybe.
And as you're driving along, as far as the address is concerned, is that something that you gave to Ricky as far as GPS, or were you giving him sort of verbal directions?
Verbal directions.
It sounds fine on my
what
end.
was that as far
You
as
guys need
where
to
you're
let
going?
me know how it sounds on your
Yes, sir.
end.
What was that?
Like the direction we went. You mean like the
I
street?
think we can move beyond that.
What I'm trying to ask, sir, is as you're
From which direction did you approach the house?
Which side of
All
Fairview?
right, let's try and reload it.
I was coming down Cedar Crest, so Fairview would be on my left.
And as you're coming down Cedar Crest with Fairview on your left, what if anything else did you search for in front of the truck?
I noticed a car coming up the hill towards us.
Still
Can
bad?
you describe the other car that you
That's
saw?
why we're
It
here.
was a black SUV.
I might just have to
And it was a
reload
black
it.
SUV that you were familiar with or anything like that?
No, I really, no.
Sorry. No, that's not you. That's Ollie.
And I know it's, but if you could just wait till I finish the
Yep,
question.
sorry, sir.
So it's not.
So on my end, it sounds okay
No.
now,
So
No.
as you
but I don't know about your end.
were-
No, sir. You don't need to apologize. See, Lolly asked the question, so you know what he's asked. And then there's like a whole bunch of other words that keep
Still
happening.
bad. Okay, bummer. All right,
So it's
let's
tough.
just get rid of this. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what's going on. This is the same exact feed we've been using with Emily for 3 weeks. So let's get rid of it and let me go. So give me a few seconds in the tech room here and see if I can find something that doesn't sound garbled tonight. I don't have a clue. I got rid of all the heavy duty stuff that was bad that I thought maybe was pulling from the system. But okay, give me a few minutes and I'll see what I can find. Maybe the March Madness gods are just mad at me that I took a break from basketball tonight. Marquette's playing. And they're going to mess with me tonight so I can't stream the testimony. All right. Well, let's try. I don't know who this is, but who's this? This looks like Court and Crime. I don't know who that is. I don't know who this is, but let's give them a try and see what happens. And again, fair use. So we will be taking breaks. I have never heard of this channel. They say they have Ryan Nagel. Well, let me find it. Okay. All right, I'm going to upload this and we'll see what happens. And I will send them a thank you and tell them that we are sharing their channel and promoting them. Let's hope it's not just StreamYard tonight. Okay, do you guys see, this is Crime Spies. I'll send her an email and let her know that we use some of her audio stream tonight for our fair use purposes. Okay, it's up there. Now I'm going to go back and you tell me how it sounds. Let's hope that it's not, if it still sounds bad, then it's StreamYard.
Name and spell your last name.
Ryan Nagel, Nagel.
And where do you live?
I live in Canton.
How long have you lived there?
30 years.
And with anyone you live in Canada?
I live with my girlfriend now and her
How
son.
is it, guys?
I do that with anyone you live with.
My parents, my brother and sister.
And your siblings, brother and sister.
Correct.
And are you the oldest?
Yes.
Sister's name is what?
Julie.
Do you work, sir?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm a union tin knocker.
Can somebody let me know
Is
in the
that HVAC?
chat if
How
it's
long have you
okay? Not great. Well, then
About 12 years.
definitely StreamYard. Is it good enough that we can get through it, or do we need to postpone? Because I don't want you guys struggling to hear it and have it be miserable
do.
for y'all.
I believe it's
If it's
Weekend.
not
And
two different channels, it's going to be a StreamYard, which we're going to
Yes, I
get
do.
tonight
And
with
where do-
pulling in video.
Go and who, if anyone, should go out.
I went to St. McCarthy's to begin the night with two of my friend, my ex-girlfriend and my friend Rick.
So this is the exact same thing that happened about 5 weeks ago, and StreamYard did send me an email and apologize. They were having technical issues with live stream, like bringing in a feed, and that was when we tried to do Julie the first time, and she was garbled, and so we ended up giving up. We tried like 3 different. We didn't know for sure it was StreamYard, so we tried Boston 10. We tried. I think we tried a bunch of true crime channels, right? So. No, it's getting worse. Shauna says, no, it's getting worse again. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, man, I don't know what to say. I can stop sharing the screen for a minute and see if try to share the screen again here in a few minutes. That's too bad because I have been waiting to go over the testimony of the 3 kids in the truck. And that's the only way I can stream their video is by sharing my screen. That's how we share the video on StreamYard for all of you. So it's definitely not me if it's two different channels. That means it's StreamYard, because I did put up the plain black background, which doesn't pull anything from the system. So, all right. Well, this sucks, guys. I look so forward to this on Friday nights, and I wanted to go over the testimony of these three, but I think that I'm going to try to share screen one more time. And if it's not working, then we're just going to chat for a little bit about what happened this week. And I've got a couple videos, but I don't even know if they'll play either. Hey, that's a good idea. Let me try one of the other videos I have pulled up for you guys. That might give us a gist of what's going on. If it's just the streaming of the trial that's not working, or if it's all streaming and presenting screen. So let's give that a try. That will help. Let me, let me remove the slide deck. All right, let me go up and pull one of my videos I have for you guys for tonight, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Maybe it's just that trial streaming, but I doubt it. I think it's any video we try to stream is not going to play tonight. So I'll have to write another little letter to StreamYard, because I did just pay them my dues. So I am paying to use StreamYard now. I'm not using the free version anymore. So I should be able to complain when things don't go well for us. Let's try this one here. This is from the news, I believe. We'll see if we can get this to play. Oh, no, this was off of Twitter X. All right. No, I don't want that one. Let me go to a news one. Here we go. Let's try this one. Recap of events. See if this one plays. This is from NBC Boston. So I'm going to try to share my screen with this one. We'll give it one more technical try tonight. And if StreamYard isn't cooperating, then we'll just have to chat for a little bit and reschedule these three for next Friday night. All right, there we go. Share the screen. Okay. Okay, yep, that's the right page. This is probably an ad that's going to show up on here first.
Welcome to Canton Confidential. It was another busy day in court in the Karen Reed trial with new developments in the case. Good evening, and thanks for joining us, everyone.
You'll have to let me know what that sounds like.
Today for the first of two final hearings before her retrial gets underway next month. And in a stern rebuke from Judge Beverly Cannoni, we got a clearer understanding of her previously stated grave concerns. Here's NBC 10's John Maroney.
A lawyer's only as good as his or her word.
Judge Beverly Cannoni admonishing Karen Reed's lawyers, saying they repeatedly and deliberately misrepresented
Garble.
their
Okay.
relationship with
And we know for
construction
sure that it's StreamYard.
from ARCA. Still, she said those
Gosh
controversial
darn it, StreamYard.
experts can testify and the defense won't be
You
sanctioned.
are wrecking our Friday night
including the
lives.
possible
We're
removal
not
of attorneys
happy
from
with
the
you.
case.
Well, shoot. So now we know for sure that it is definitely a StreamYard problem. I'm sorry, guys. That stinks. I look forward to our Friday nights together. So we will have to reschedule. I'll send an email to StreamYard and find out what the heck happened. And in the meantime, before we close out tonight early, I guess I will just give you my opinion of some of the things that happened this week. And I'd really love to hear yours, and feel free to type in anything you want in the chat box because it's all crazy, right? So what are you guys feeling about Judge Bev this week? What did you feel? I thought she was extra cantankerous, even more kind of crabby and nasty than she's been all along. So I feel like this case is probably obviously a thorn in her side, right? And if she is involved in any way in any of the shenanigans, that's going to come out eventually, and that will not be good for her in her career. But I thought the whole thing with Yannetti was just ridiculous and so unprofessional. I'm glad he stood up for himself. Because he usually doesn't do that. He's usually calm and tries to keep the judge calm. And so that was pretty interesting. I thought. What did you guys think about that? Yeah, Julie, feel free to come up. Do you need the link? Yes, I'll send you the link. Stand by. Let me invite you to come up. Copy the link. I'm going to email it to you here. All right, stand by everybody a second. I'm going to email the link to Julie so she can come up and she can tell us more about the experiments she's been doing, because she spent a lot of time with her experiments and it's been so interesting. So give me just a second and I will send her the link to come up into the green room. I'm so irritated with StreamYard tonight. I don't know what is going on with being able to show video, stream video. That's only happened to us twice now in 10 weeks, but it's still annoying because we had a lot to talk about tonight with the 3 kids in the truck, the 3 young adults, I should say. Okay, Julie, I am sending it to your email right now, and you should have it soon. Anybody else wants to come up on the platform and say their piece about what happened this week? You are so welcome. And I can email you a link just like I'm doing with Julie. It's really easy to do. And you don't have to have your camera on. You can just have your voice on. You do not need to have your camera. All right, Julie, I'm just about to hit the send button here. Okay, it's been sent to you, my dear. So if anybody else would like to come up on the platform, just let me know in the chat. You are more than welcome to be up here and chit chat with me about what went on this week. I feel kind of overwhelmed with it all, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because I have these other victims that I'm standing for and doing a lot of on the ground work for. So I get a little bit more overwhelmed lately. The search for Sarah's child who's with the bio dad, and we're not feeling good about it anymore at all. We never really were, but new evidence has come to light that I've been able to find out for Michelle based on DCF and the school up in Tallahassee. So that's been intense. And then Kara, we've been working with Kara, and it's been intense trying to get justice for Jason and get his case reopened, or at least get the DA to consider it. We have updates all about both those cases, a lot of updates for next week. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. And then the Karen Reed case with all of the shenanigans and the constant nastiness, it's just mind-boggling to me how this is even happening. I don't see why they haven't just said, you know what, hung jury, it's probably going to be a hung jury again. How are they ever going to get 12 people to say that they can say beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond moral certainty, because that's what you need in Massachusetts. You need that as well. That's that extra caveat that a lot of states don't have, guys. So it's not just beyond a reasonable doubt. It's also beyond a moral certainty. How are you going to get 12 people with 91 witnesses that the CW has listed now, 91 witnesses that the defense has now come out with today? And I'm going to read some of those names off to you too. I'm following someone on Twitter X who made an amazing list today, and she gave me permission to share it. So while Julie's talking, I will go look for that and I'll share it with you guys. But how in the world are they going to get 12 people? I don't care if you're the most talented, hard-assed, hard-nosed prosecutor in the world. You are not going to get 12 people to say beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond moral certainty, Karen Reed, first of all, purposely hit him with her car in a fit of rage, because that's one of the charges, and then purposely knew he was dying or dead and left him in the snow. That's the other charge. Or even the manslaughter, she accidentally did it. How are you ever going to get 12 people to agree on all 3 or 2 or 1? I don't see it. So I don't get it why they're just not saying, this is it now. We got to be done. We had a hung jury. Now we've got all this other commotion going on, and so much with this case makes no sense on either side. We're just not going to be able to try Karen. Why is that not happening, people, right? So many people on Twitter X and social media are asking that almost every day. Why was this ever taken to trial in the first place? But since it was, and it was a hung jury, why is this not done now? That is what is maddening and frustrating, right? So let's see what you have to say here. Ken Hathaway, Suzanne. I sat with my 10-year-old twin great nieces, and my 13-year-old niece told them about the case. Even they said she didn't do it. That jury was fixed. Yeah, I mean, so many people. Oh, hi, there's Julie Nagel's blob. Oh, I love it. She's got him dressed in a Free Karen Reed shirt tonight. That is perfect.
Oh, no, not Free Karen Reed shirt. You're gonna like this one.
Oh, what do you got? What do you got?
So this is an exclusive that helps Uncle Frank. It says, "I got touched at Camp Shitty." I'm sorry, Camp Shitty.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So there we go. This exclusive at Oblivious Benson. It's on the Nagel blob. See, Nagel blob. Where's it? Right there.
There it
And
is.
also
There's the
it's gonna
Nagel
help
blob.
Uncle Frank. So there we go.
Oh,
A little bit.
yes, and the money goes to help Uncle Frank with her new kidney. She's on a list. She just got out of the hospital, and so far so good. They took out the new kidney she got years ago that never worked right, that caused her many health problems. They took that out. So I believe I think she got home from the hospital. Okay, I sent her a message earlier wishing her well, but I think she did, right? She made it out of the hospital okay today?
Yeah, that's what yeah, right. But I think 2 hours before you guys went on,
Okay.
Obi went on and said, yeah, she's out of the hospital, and she was in the chat. So that was
good.
good.
Good. Well, listen, guys, I'm so sorry about this technical issue with StreamYard tonight. That's really frustrating, but it obviously is. I wish they had like a help button that I could push right during the middle of it and say, help. What can I do? What's happening? Is it you guys? Is it us? But I don't think it's us, because we tried to show several live streams. So it really just can't be us. So anyway, it's such a shame. Well, thank you, Shauna. You're so sweet.
Yeah. Remember
And
Clippy?
so, yeah. And then Suzanne says, in fact, they said, ooh, nasty people and horrible policeman. What was she talking about there?
What's that?
I'm not sure. Suzanne, you said at Shauna, yep. In fact, they said, ooh, nasty people and horrible policeman. Oh, the kids. Yeah. Okay. The kids were picking up on
Proctor. Okay, Proctor.
Yeah,
What are you talking about? Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, even the kids are picking up on the nastiness of this whole trial. And yeah, it's just
Hi,
crazy.
Suzanne. Hi, Shauna. Everybody.
Yeah, it's great to see you again, Julie, and of course the blob. So something that Julie was doing in one of her experiments that we'll show you eventually, and we were talking about it, is that Julie Nagel really couldn't have seen a black blob because there was enough snow that would have fallen between approximately 12:30 when they're saying John would have been hit by the car, and when they came out of the house, which was approximately 10 to 2 a.m. Eastern time, that there would have been snow, whether he was face down or laying on his back, there would have been snow on him, at least a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's so freaking hard with Lally. What if anyone? Who if anything? Like Jesus Christ, with him with the snow. So I can't figure out exactly how much. I said, you know what? Let me just like for shits and giggles and did it. And I don't know if it's whatever it is. And the video I showed you and we'll show it at some point in the future. I measured my finger. It's about 3/4 of an inch of snow, and it was approximately about the same. But even if there was a 1/2 inch to an inch,
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't look at that, right? Like you saw that cat. You wouldn't look at that and say, "Oh, clearly that's a black blob."
No.
I mean, even with this, right?
When we show you the time she spent doing these tests, though, it was really great to see. Right. It was great to see, because what Julie Nagel's trying to get everyone to believe is that she saw a black blob in the yard. Well, she wouldn't have seen a black blob. She would have seen John had on a gray sweatshirt, first of all, and he had on jeans, which wouldn't have looked black with headlights shining as they drove by. And there would have been snow on him. So it would have looked like the outline, which our happily angry lawyer mentioned to us last week, that it would have looked like the outline of a person. It would not have looked like a black blob. And again, she it's almost like she panicked and said 5 to 6 feet. Well, John is way taller than 6 feet. He was what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2". Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah. So, and then with the tennis shoes, sticking out at the end. So there's, that was all a made up story. And what I found interesting about her testimony that we listened to last week too, was when she kind of misspoke a couple times, right? Because she said something about Karen's car being there and then it not being there. And that to me was a problem, because like we were going to get to listen to tonight in the testimony of the kids, the young adults, they most certainly saw Karen's car there. All three of them testified that Karen's car was there. So there's no way. Julie came out right away. Basically, she made it sound like as soon as Ryan pulled up, he texted here. She saw it. She came out. They were all peeping out the window. Brian Jr., Julie, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, right?
Yep.
So
Party at the window.
she would have come right out. So there's no way that for her to mess up that bad. I'm kind of, again, when they crossed her, they weren't really knowing for sure that she messed up that bad, because they wouldn't have had the others on the stand yet. So I'm thinking they must have it in their notes. This is what they do for a living. So they must have it in their notes where people crossed up and crossed over each other, and one said one thing and one said the other. They must have all that and prepared for a second trial. I'm sure they were hoping, obviously, that she was going to be found innocent and there would be no second trial, but they've had all this time now to prepare for the second trial. They had to have gone back and had notes about this, I'd like to think, right?
Yeah.
All of these, these things that don't add up and that don't line up, because Ricky, Heather, and Ryan all said that Karen Reed was in front of them. And that totally adds up based on when they tell us, I believe it was Ricky that said, and even Heather, that when we came to that intersection, we let the black SUV turn in front of us. So they most certainly, and they described that Karen, that the same woman they saw turning in front of them was the same person they saw when they passed by her SUV when they left.
Well, plus also one of the things, and I know that everybody has different opinions about the documentary and how it looks, how it doesn't look, and whatever. One of the good things about the documentary is that it does give perspective. Again, if you take the Karen parts out of it, it does show you better views of what it looks like at 34 Fairview from the curb, from the fire hydrant, from the flagpole, and also when it shows down. I didn't realize this before. There's a stop sign relatively close, so that's where they turn. So they literally even if they even if Karen hightailed it down the street, they still would have seen her oh, there she is, and there's the house, and if you could see the stop sign in that in the shot from the documentary of 34 Fairview, you can absolutely see once you're turning, oh, there she is right over there. Even before you get on the street, you could still see, oh, there's somebody over there who's there. It's not like she took hightailed it down the street and, oh, I don't know who that is. Nope, you absolutely see you turned and there she is.
Right. So, and when we get to Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe in a couple of weeks, they tell us that Higgins' Jeep was parked in front of the mailbox. Well, that's impossible because the young adults don't say a thing about Higgins' Jeep. Julie Niggle doesn't say a thing about Higgins' Jeep being there when she came out to talk to her brother. So that's a huge problem. These are the actual, I consider witnesses because they actually saw Karen in the car. They actually saw her car parked in front of the house. They were parked behind her for that small, they're actually witnesses. And why in the world were they not interviewed for so long afterwards? That's not bad police procedure. That's intentional. That is absolutely intentional.
Yes.
So, all right. So this is. I have to go back here. Hey, hold on, 2 seconds. I want to put up. So Suzanne said, what would be interesting is if they asked Higgy, when you were in the kitchen near the door, did Julie pass you to go out to her brother? If so, she would have passed John on his way in. Oh, hey, that's really good, Suzanne. Or would he have already been in the house, right? Because if she was able to get there even just 30 seconds before them because they let her turn first in front of them and he hopped out and it was cold and he didn't have a coat, it wouldn't take him more than 10 seconds to run across that lawn or to run up the driveway. If she first stopped right in front of Higgins' Jeep, he would have been running straight forward right into the house. So he could have already been in there. But hey, that's a really good one, Suzanne. I like that a lot. I'm going to write that one down before I close out the stream tonight, because that's something really good to consider, especially when we get to Higgins, when we re-listen to Higgins and of course we know he lied because he says that he originally said he left at 12:30 and there's no way he left that house at 12:30.
Absolutely not.
There's just no way, right? Hi, I'm Kat. Good to see you. We had some technical issues with StreamYard tonight. We tried two different platforms of listening. We tried Emily Baker again, and then we tried a new one that we hadn't heard of before. At least I hadn't heard of before. Crime Spies, I think she was called. And the voice is garbled like it was about 6 weeks ago when we tried to do Julie that night. So this must be some kind of intermittent StreamYard issue with streaming video that I'm not aware. I'm going to find out because I'm going to email him right away when we get done tonight. So unfortunately, we can't get any of our testimonies to stream tonight. So we're bummed. So we're just talking. We're just chatting about what we heard last week from Julie Nagel and a little bit about what we heard this week with everything that went on. Now, I didn't watch the HBO. Now, you did, right, Julie?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Can you share with us some things that came out in the chat box? Can you please share? I don't have HBO, and to be honest with you, I really didn't want to watch it. I didn't think it was going to help me or change anything that I already feel or think about this case. So I just wanted to talk to you. But yes, Julie, give us the lowdown. I'm going to go in the settings again and see if there's a way I'm in case I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to go in the settings.
Make me say all the bad stuff. How about before we do that? Because I mean, it's gonna turn into a little bit of a shit show because that's kind of what the documentary was. Oh boy. How about we do this?
Shauna said something too. She said it, unless he was already in the basement, which yes, I mean, if he ran into the house and they were all in the hallway and then they want, hey, let's go down and talk this out, or let's go finish what we were talking about in the bar or whatever, right? They already could have been in the basement. And and Shauna said too, why no recorded interviews? That is that's beyond the pale, right?
Number one.
It's just beyond the pale, and it's so against all police procedure. And we, as Kara knows, we listen to the interviews of the witnesses in Jason Veach's homicide at the Cabbage Patch Bar. That's what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks on Wednesdays. We've been listening to all the witnesses, and it really is an eye opener when you actually get to hear it and you get to see how much they kept from you and what they didn't include when they spoke to Kara in her several meetings that she's had. So can you imagine if we would have had all these interviews audio that we all would have been able to listen to? They might have kept them from the public too, though, for all we know. We may not have been able to listen to them, but they would have been brought up in court for sure, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, 1000%. I've never seen anything like this except for like shady like gang mob stuff or political stuff. Like usually it's like, oh, can we keep this off the record? And it's like, oh, I went to go talk to, Congressman so and so.
Right. So did Karen ever mention what door he went in? Is what Suzanne has to say. Shauna says the side.
Yep.
The side front door, it's kind of like a door that faces the garage that goes, it's like a breezeway door. I think it goes into their family room though, doesn't it?
So I know
Mike go into their kitchen.
No, wait a minute. You know what? I'm not exactly sure. I think it goes into a side, like almost like a splash, like a mudroom. Microdot showed it, and so Microdot shows where he walks in from and again, they say the side door, it's a breezeway where when you walk in the door, it's actually a screen door, but the door to the house is on the side. So that's what they mean by side door. Even though it's technically a front door, it's a side door.
Right, so, where Shauna says like where they kick off their boots. Yeah, like a mudroom. I mean,
exactly.
We have mudrooms in Wisconsin. Like lots of people's houses have those mudrooms where you can put your coats and your hats and your umbrellas and your boots and all that kind of jazz. Yeah, for sure. So and then Suzanne says at Shauna something the door Higgy was near. Wonder what door Julie came out of. Oh yeah, she said she came out of the front door. When we listened to her testimony last week, she said she came out the front door and then walked down up the path or something, she said.
I can't see.
Yeah. You can't see?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm talking to myself. I apologize. All right. So I'm trying to show my screen, but
okay.
But where? Hang on one second. Let me.
No worries.
Let's try this one. Yep, okay,
Julie's going to show us something before we get into her and Shauna. Well, Shauna watched it too, giving us the lowdown of what happened.
Let's do this first because I don't want to get into a whole bunch of because it was a lot. Okay, it was a lot.
Was it on 3 nights, right?
Yeah, it was a total of 5 hours.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to
sorry,
what
sorry.
people were saying about it on social media, so I've been given the gist of it,
Okay, all right, we're gonna have to do this in pieces. Okay, all right, I'm gonna share. I don't know why I can't share all the things. Okay, all right, so all right, so before we get into that, let me just show this to you guys. Kat, can you bring up
Yes,
can you show
I gotta go find it. There it is. Yep, I got it. Adding it to the
Okay.
stage now.
Okay, all right. So can you see? Oh, you can't see my thing. Oh, yay. Okay, all right. Hang on. Just hang on. Yeah, I know. We were trying to figure out how you can see my cursor because I talk with my hands a whole bunch and I'm constantly pointing at the screen, but nobody can see that except for me. So okay, all right. So just to kind of break down what happened this week, there was a lot that happened this week in court and outside of court. And
Yeah.
just want to say that that there are so many facts of this case of like some and just hard facts. Now, again, everybody wants to talk about the tail light. You want to talk about the Apple Health data. You want to talk about going up and down stairs. You want to talk about phone calls. You want to talk about butt dials. You want to talk about this. You want to talk about that. And then all the other crap that goes on with Turtle and all the other stuff. It's just a lot. Like it's a lot, and it's very clear that that attorney Hank Breenan, because he calls himself Breenan, so I'm gonna call him Breenan. Attorney Hank Breenan is not fucking around this time, and he, for some reason, wants to go after every single little particulate. He doesn't understand that he's supposed to be the prosecution in this,
Right.
because he
Right.
is playing this as a defense attorney playing against the defense, which is not
Right.
what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make a case. So one thing that came out this week in court, it was kind of in passing, but I forget what they were to what they were referring when they brought it up. But they were, I think it was the talk about the Judd guy. He's a mechanical engineer, or he has some sort of engineering background. He's the one who brought in 140 slides. And just to clarify, voluminous does not equal robust. Okay, you can have a whole bunch of 140 slides of God knows what, and it sounds very interesting to see. I'd like to see that because I did some stuff, which we'll get to at some point. I'd like to see that just to see what his argument is and where he's coming from, because it sounds very similar. Like he did drop tests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Hank Breenan brought up is he said, well, if you look, he said that this guy, Judd, whatever, is going to bring up the fact that Officer John O'Keefe was struck by this SUV here. Now, this is a picture of Karen's SUV outside of, this is when they did the viewing. So this is Karen's actual SUV. Let me.
And they parked it. Yeah, they parked it in front of 34 Fairview for the viewing.
So this right here, I believe, is a police cruiser, and they did it for a viewing. So
right. So up ahead there. Okay, got it.
Yep. So this is where the taillight was.
Yep, where they took it out.
Yep. I don't know to what these two marks are. It looks like they're like little sticky tabs or something.
Yeah, it looks like
I don't know what those are, but we're gonna ignore that for a second because it doesn't really get into it. So if you look here, there is a mark here, and I have another shot, but we'll just.
So where Julie is pointing, guys, is if you look just above. Yeah, they can't see your pointer.
They can't.
We can't.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. Well, maybe we can. Can you guys see her pointer?
Yeah, that's why I did that.
Oh, good. Never mind. I thought you and I might.
We did it. Yay. Okay. Sorry. Little victories. Okay. So right here where I'm pointing, there is an indentation. Okay. Now, certain people in certain attics have said, oh, well, obviously, that's when Officer John O'Keefe has, again, I'm going to use my very professional solo cups.
Yeah, I heard those people that live in the attics can be quite loud at times and annoying.
Well, don't you worry. So the guy in the attic said, oh, obviously that was from when Officer John O'Keefe had his arm outstretched, because that's a perfect match to his height, where it is on the car, and his body. So at the same time as Officer John O'Keefe is getting struck here with a drink in his hand,
right, he
is also breaking the taillight and then doing a pirouette and doing something else. Also in the attic, the guy in the attic had a guest on who is, I guess, a former law enforcement. And he looked and said, oh, obviously that would be the case. So even if his arm was like this, was bent up or straight, he would have been pulled in to the side of the car. And the guy in the attic said, yes, but they're saying that there's no dent on the side of the car, which is what I'm saying, take everything out, just look at what's missing here, and there you go, case closed. He pointed and said, there's a dent right here on the passenger side rear door. Can everybody see where my
Yes.
where my clicker is? Yep.
Yes.
So there is an indentation right here. And so this guy said, he looked at this and said, here's a taillight, here's the here it is right here. That's what caused the pirouette. Now, I'm going to show you. Okay, so everybody just get this in their mind. Okay, so there's, I also did a little bit of measurement from the license plate and from here, and it has to be at least 30 inches from here to over here.
Okay.
Which means that your arm would need to be at least 30 feet. Now, my arm is 29 inches. Officer John O'Keefe is bigger than I am, so it would reach. However, Hank Breenan said the other day in open court, said, if your arm is bent like this, you would make all the dimples and everything else on his arm from the tail light. So this little story of theirs saying, oh, this is this and this and that. Also, unless you're humerus, which is right here,
right,
which goes from your shoulder to your elbow, unless you have a 5.5-foot humerus, you're not going to make this dent by putting your arm here and having it push you all the way up here. If anything, you're going to be right here, and this rear window is so close, you would smash into that, and there is not a mark anywhere on that. So
Julie, Shauna says, is that a true dent or a reflection?
No, so that is a true dent. I thought it was a reflection too. There's another picture where it shows the rear, and you look and you go, wait, is that a reflection? Because it looks flat.
Wait, time out. Everybody in the chat. When did they ever mention there was a dent on the passenger side car?
Exactly. They haven't, because it goes against their case. Because I'm going to show you in 1 second. Let me share what I did today, because everybody's getting all upset and hot and bothered and everything.
No, this is great. This is great.
Let me show you what I did today to calm everybody the F down. So, and I'm going to try not to swear tonight because
oh no, swear away. It's Friday Night Lives. We can swear. We can change into here. Let's change into the fuck you hat.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to need that. We're going to need that. Okay.
We're going to need that eventually, always on Friday Night Lives. There we go. Fuck off. Thank you to my friend Tiger for loaning me this hat for Friday Night Lives.
All right, where's the other one? Let's see. Here we go, right here. Okay.
Never once in the trial was there ever a comment made.
Never
correct?
once.
Everybody,
Never, ever. Yep. Would John's arm be higher?
Suzanne says, is it me? Would John's arms be higher? He was over 6 foot. Yeah, he was definitely at least 6'2".
Yeah, so he was 6'2". That Lexus is the clearance is 72 inches. So
Suzanne, keep calm and carry on. Shauna
exactly.
Says, I was swearing in my 10-minute audio to you. Oh, good. I can't wait to hear that.
We love swearing. Okay.
Maybe I need to play that. Should I play that, Shauna? Should I play your message?
That's, is it like the apology line? Okay. All right. Can you see? Kat, can you bring the next video up?
Yeah. Hang on a second. Stand by. I go into the tech room. There you go.
Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. So can you still see the pointer? Excellent. Perfect.
Yes.
I think we fixed this. All right. Let me
What
rewind.
did you do to make the pointer work? Because we couldn't make it work last week.
So the last time, so I messed around with it. So the last time when I did present
in private. Okay. No, she says.
Oh yeah. What was I gonna say? So
I was just kidding, Shauna.
I did. So this is share screen instead of the other one, which is I grabbed the actual file and replayed the file. This one I can adjust the speed because because some of them it's just me talking for some time and then it's quiet, so we'll speed it up a little bit, like when we do the the leaf blower.
Okay,
we'll
cool.
That one up. So so I did this today because I sent Kat a text message early because like there was just a whole bunch of bullshit that was going on. And I said, you know what? This is why, like everybody's freaking out about the text stream stuff, saying, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" Because also what came out in Hank Breenan's report is that he said, "Well, this guy Judd whatever is going to show that that the Lexus disconnected from from Officer John O'Keefe's Bluetooth I'm sorry, his cell phone or his Apple phone via Bluetooth.
Oh, right. Now they're bringing up Bluetooth, which they never brought up before either.
Well, so that's me. So all right, so he brought that up and said that it got disconnected at 12:32
Right.
a.m. and then says, oh, and we'll have the phone's data for the battery and the battery temperature and everything else, and we'll just break it apart. So basically, he did a hell of a lot more. Which, okay, that's great. You want a good investigation, go through and do a good investigation. Now, when Trooper Paul pulled the data originally, I guess he didn't know what he was doing, or I don't know what happened, but they didn't have a full data set. And for whatever reason, instead of just plugging it in, reading it from the text stream on the onboard computer, they took the physical chips off. So I don't know if it was just ignorance or trying to destroy stuff or whatever, but that's why they sent the car or sent the chips to Houston to have the chip on. And then they got the reading, they put it back in the car, and they got more data. Now, that hasn't been exposed, so that's still confidential on both sides, but both sides got this. Now, I've been saying for the longest time, please nobody go after the text stream data, because the text stream data is what is going to exonerate her, because right in even the stuff that Trooper Paul showed in his little spreadsheet thing,
and
it's right
can I
there.
show something really quick too?
Yeah, of course.
It'll just take me a second. I'm just gonna hang on a second. I'm just going to let me see if it'll let me while you're doing it. Yeah, I think I can do it while you're doing it. Let me go. Just want to show you guys this again, because I've been putting this up at least once a week. Let me go to where was I? I just had it up now and it's not letting me. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay. Can you guys see that? Oh wait, no, that's not the one. Hang on. I got to go out of that. Sorry, guys. That was not the correct one. I pulled up the wrong one. Stay tuned. Hang on. I want to show you. This was the tail light that Sean was putting up a lot, Sean on the golf, and everybody's been sharing it all over social media again. So this is showing what it's supposed to look like. You can see all 4 pictures of what it looked like when they what they're saying it looked like, but we think they smashed it and, the hammer, blah, blah, blah. And then when they collected it, this was the meme. And I wish now I can't remember who actually made this for Sean, but I'll find out because I like to credit everybody. I'll put it in the replay chat. Proctor found everything on the right. Cert found that little pink section there. And then sorry, but Buchanan found that aqua section. Now, listen, guys, let's talk about this for a minute. What the actual F, right? There is no way that is going to happen, right? There's no way that that one guy's going to find all of the taillight in the spot, and then the next guy's going to find that. No, the CERT team, there were like 4 of them. You're going to tell me the whole CERT team only found, and they happened to find this little area, but yet another officer goes and finds that whole area, and then another. There's no freaking way in hell that happened like that. That is
the likelihood of that happening is so low.
Possible. Right. I noticed somebody else on Twitter X last week that was like a math person and a scientist and came on and started joining everybody and saying it was some like 4 billion something to the something power that that Proctor would find only this, Buchanan would find only this. I know that's not how his name is said, guys, but I don't like to say Bukkake. It's not my thing, but I can't stand either one of these people. And I now that Proctor's gone and dishonorably discharged, I hope to God that he's next, Buki's next. And then the CERT team, no way in hell a CERT team who's trained to do this, to look for people. Again, why did they call in a team that's trained to look for people? We weren't looking for people. We're looking for evidence, taillight pieces. So that, again, they did that on purpose. That was a purposeful fuck up. There's my hat. Purposeful fuck up. I should get a hat that says fuck up. There's no, that should have never happened anyway. And then there's 4 of them, and that's all they find. And they only find those pieces. Again, statistically never happening. And the fact that people want us to believe that and think that is utterly ludicrous, right? I mean, unbelievable. So, okay, let me bring up some of your comments. Let me take that off, Julie, so we can go back to you. But I remembered that I had just tweeted that out again. I've been tweeting it out like every couple days to try to get some people who are in the middle to come to our side of thinking, because when you look at that and you look at what's lit up there in the snow, and then I'll bring up the other thing too here in a minute while you're talking. I'll go find it. Someone else put up something interesting about the bulb, about if they're saying if the bulb was broken. Well, if the bulb was broken, then it couldn't have shown in certain ways that it was being shown in some of the footage. So yes, Shauna says Agent Sean. Yeah, this is
Sean's the best. He really is.
I
learned about,
I learned about this. Right. I learned about this from Agent Sean when I first found out that this is how they're saying the taillight was found, by Proctor and Buki and CERT team in this order. And Sean was like, no, no freaking way. Right. We miss Sean. He had so much spark about him and so much passion because he's from Canton. He deserved to have all that passion, guys. For those of you that got upset and angry with him, you have to cut him a little slack because he's from there. He grew up there. If this happened in your town where you grew up, this kind of shenanigans and law breaking, and then the fact that he was a DEA agent and it was an ex-cop, and he's got to face these ex-cops ruining his town, and now they're ex-cops, but they weren't when this all started. But Brian Alberts obviously mysteriously decided to retire right after all this went down. And then of course, Kevin Albert, his brother, is a detective there. I don't know what's going on.
Summer paid for.
Right. I find it still, we talked about this a little bit, Julie. I find it incredibly interesting how he is just completely absent from this entire thing, with the exception of John asking if Kevin was coming.
Yep.
That's the only mention of, the prosecution never really brought him up. The defense never, I find it very interesting that he wouldn't have been called in the middle of the night, right? Or that Brian Albert, when Higgins went back to supposedly move the vehicles and park the vehicles because of the snowstorm.
That he was supposedly shit-faced, allegedly. That he was supposedly shit-faced, allegedly driving there to move vehicles.
Yes, everybody loves
in the middle of a snowstorm.
Yes, and Suzanne says, "This is."
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So there's a guy, I believe he's in the Carolinas. He's somewhere down south. So he ordered an original manufacturer's part of the Lexus taillight, and he hammered it with a hammer, and what he did was he plugged it in beforehand to show what it would look like here are the LEDs. And I tried to do some research on this to try to find, because I couldn't figure out, saying, wait a minute, I thought the LEDs had to be white, that it was against the law for them to be any other color. I guess not true. Because he opened it up and put it inside, and once he broke the outer lens, he plugged it back in and showed. He said, "This is what it looks like." And the LEDs, number one, they're LEDs, and there are, I think, like 4 or 5 of them in a row. And number two, they're amber. So when you see them driving back and forth, especially in Dighton, you could see them light up, but they show as a little bit more amber. So it looks like there's, more lens there than what it is. But Brennan showed a completely different version where he said, and he even said in court, he said, you could see that there's white here. Those look like those are fucked with. To me, that's what I think. That's what I think when I look at them, saying they look like something was going on. So, yeah. And there's so much. So he ordered, I think he ordered like 2 or 3 of them. He did another one, which was, I thought it was better than the first, because the first one, I think the lens was cracked.
Is this him, Julie? Shauna says NHCSHP guy.
Oh, that's the guy that did it. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure who that was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's,
thank you guys.
He's the retired North Carolina CHIPS, basically the State Highway Patrol guys. He's a retired statey. So what he did was he broke it. But the first one he did, I think he said that the lens was cracked, and because he hit it twice, and the thing just broke, and was like, that seems awfully brittle. And a whole bunch of people, because JFK showed it as well, and a lot of people, and like I looked at that too, and it was like, I know it's Toyota, but I mean, still, there's a little bit more give to that. And I thought he said that it was chipped or cracked. But then
Yeah.
he did a second one, and what he did was he took a piece of steel and he wrapped it in rubber, and he beat the and he struck the taillight with a piece of steel wrapped in rubber, and it took like 3 or 4 whacks before it actually broke. And when it broke into big pieces, except for where he
Oh,
struck, and then there were smaller pieces. But he said, look, I did this. But then, and I don't know if this guy, if anybody has ties to this guy or could get word out. He said he's going to he's going to build a mount, put it on his car so that he can drive 24 miles an hour.
you two
And
need to connect because you've done all your studies and all the time you spent with the leaf blower and the black blob and the car and the taillight. You guys totally okay, everybody. We're on a mission. We need to figure out how to contact.
I don't know
this
about that, but
yes, but we need to figure out how to contact this NCHP guy. NCSHP guy, so that we can introduce him. We need to invite him on Friday Night Lives so we can introduce him.
I mean, he's I've seen him in other people's chats. He's in actually he has a different name in JFK's chat. I think it's like 5, whatever it is. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so he was gonna build a mountain.
I'll send James.
Oh my God, that's gonna hurt yourself. What's up?
I'll reach out to James Jackson in a DM and see if he can tell me who this gentleman is, or if he'd just be willing to give my contact information to him. It'd be really interesting to meet him and for you two to talk about he's going out of his way to do experiments, and I think that's fantastic. And so have you. So, all right, let me put you back on the stage where we were, because I just thought it'd be helpful to bring up. I remembered I had just tweeted that out again from Sean on the golf when they were putting up all the taillight stuff.
Yeah,
and
God bless Sean. By the way, I know that Suzanne and Sean and you can and there are a lot of people out there too, like Oblivious Benson, also too, who that when the shit went down, they basically said like, hey, listen to Sean. He knows what he knows what he's talking about. Like, listen, is he upset? Yeah, of course he's upset. There's a lot of fuckery going on, and and just like what you said, he's. He was born in Boston. He grew up in Canton. He has family in Canton. He has people that he cares about. He was a cop. He was a DEA agent. He has all of this stuff. He's looking and saying, what the fuck are you people doing? You're ruining this and that and the other thing. And now, and then all the other bad, well, I mean, there are people that I don't like. I don't know if they're bad, but, people who, sell hats or sell sweaters.
Here's the thing too, guys and Julie and ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when we follow someone and we follow their travesty and we become attached to them via true crime. Most of us were into true crime ever before John O'Keefe was even out of the police academy, So, I mean, John O'Keefe and Karen Reed are not that much older than my children. So, we do get attached to the victims and their families and the side we're standing on. That's just human nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with not always agreeing with everybody who thinks like you do. I don't always have to agree with Aiden. I don't always have to agree with Nurse Kim or Auntie Deb or OB, and they don't have to agree with me. But we're all doing our thing. We're all advocating for Karen Reed and for corruption to be called out in this area of Massachusetts, and for justice, right, to shine, for the true perpetrators to be arrested. But that doesn't mean we're all going to like each other. It doesn't mean we're always all going to get along. What I don't like, and what was happening since November, is when Sean and Aiden got in this little mini war between the two of them. That's their thing, right? That shouldn't cause the rest of us to get mad at each other, or, oh, she's standing with Sean, I'm not going to follow her channel anymore, I'm not going to watch her anymore, or he's standing with Aiden, so I'm not going to follow her, their channel. That's ridiculous.
That's horseshit too. Like, really, you don't watch TV because of one person? Why?
Right. We can stand back and say, hey, let these gentlemen both have high emotions involved, both from Massachusetts, both covering the case. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. But that doesn't mean that we should all turn on each other. And especially for people like me and others who just wanted to stay neutral, because I find value in what Aiden does and I find value in what Sean did. But I had people hate messaging me, on PMing me and DMing me and unfollowing me, and I'm never coming to your show again. And that's outrageous to me. And that you have to learn to be a better adult if you're going to participate in true crime.
That's not the way the world works either.
don't kill the messengers, right? We're all messengers. We're all sharing and advocating for justice, for true crime, for the right person to be put in jail, not the wrong person. I just ran across somebody a couple weeks ago who just spent 20 years in jail, and he was finally exonerated based on DNA evidence. And now he believes that they have now arrested another wrong person, and he's now advocating for that person.
Good for him.
And so I wrote to him to see if he would come on our channel, because he put out there that he would go on anybody's channels, because now he believes they have once again arrested the wrong person for this young girl's death. And this is a very famous case, so I don't want to get into that right now, but most of you have heard about it, know about it. Yeah, it happened 20 years ago, and this young woman was found unalived in her car on a country road, and he ended up getting arrested for it. He claimed he didn't do it. He claimed he was innocent the whole time. He got convicted, and he spent, I believe, either 15 or 20 years in jail. I can't remember the exact amount, but I will get to that, because that's something I want us to look into on one of these Friday nights, if we want to take a break from the Karen Read case a Friday night, because I want to know now who this new person is they arrested, and why the old person who was exonerated believes so completely in his innocence, and what the heck kind of fuckery is going on there. Right? They're about to get it wrong twice, and people, we can't stand for that. That's crazy. We need to check into this. So we'll look into that here in the next couple of weeks. So Shauna says, but we do need a healthy balance. I can't do this 24/7 anymore. After
Agreed.
that with Agent Sean, I had to search my soul. It affected me deeply. Yes, absolutely. Because we can't let what's going on out there in social media world and in the true crime world completely overtake our lives, because that's not healthy. We can be advocates and we can care. And in my case, I'm live streaming. So, I'm caring at a little bit higher level, because I'm trying to help out at a little bit higher level. I actually know Kara. We met each other. I'm helping her the most I can. I know Michelle. I'm assisting with the cases. So my thing is my thing, but I still have to be careful. I still have to watch out for self-care. And those of you that are contributing in the chat boxes and the conversation areas, and by making memes, and by social media posts, and what Julie's doing, that's huge, guys. That you don't have to be a live streamer to be a contributor. You are doing just as much as a lot of people are doing who are live streaming, because you're taking your time to advocate and post out on social media and make these conversation memes and these statistical memes, and redoing scenarios yourself, like Julie and like this gentleman. So I applaud all of you. The work and the dedication that has gone into freeing Karen Read and John O'Keefe's justice is admirable. It really, truly is. Okay, let's get back. We kind of took a sidestep there for a little bit, which is okay, since we don't, whatever reason, StreamYard isn't letting us show video tonight, but it's letting us share our screens with Julie, which is excellent. So, Suzanne says, it's not pathetic. You have a good heart. Oh, okay. Well, is that what? Let me see.
Agree. Yep.
At Shauna, yes, we do. It did me. It wasn't nice. Yes, it's not pathetic, Shauna. No,
Nope.
absolutely not.
Empathy is not pathetic.
Everybody that comes on Friday nights, everybody that's been joining me on Wednesdays and Thursdays, everyone I've met since I first started getting involved in live streaming, I am so impressed with you all. This is like your hobby. It's a hobby for good. It's a hobby for justice. It's a hobby outside the norm, for sure, being involved with true crime. And none of you are pathetic. These families need you. They need you to stand for them and advocate for them. And most people can't handle this. I've talked about this before. This level of travesty, where someone's life has been taken by another person, or the wrong person is being convicted and tried, or the missing, like Sarah Ebersol, and her daughter is in the hands of the bio dad, who we all believe is the one who unalived Sarah. And we're afraid for Cora. We think he's abusing her, and we don't know for sure if it's just neglect or if it's more and something more nefarious. But this is very hard stuff. This is difficult. So for this to be your hobby, you are truly heroes, and you are social change warriors. You are justice seekers, and don't ever think you're pathetic. Never.
No way.
Oh, hey, Willie B. Welcome back. Hi, ladies, and thank you for your efforts. I am the only one who thinks I heard Jen McCabe state that one of her characters, I don't know which guy, but he's our IT guy. Maybe it wasn't said, but I think so. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, can you help us break that down, Willie? You're the only one who thinks you heard Jen. So was this when she was on the stand, Willie?
I didn't hear that. Wait a second. Am I the only one who thinks I heard Jim McCabe state that one of the guys, I don't know which one, said he's our IT guy? Maybe it wasn't said, but I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know.
There was a lot of things that were almost said or not said, slip ups, right? I mean, we all know Ellie, when we get Ellie, we know what her slip up was. And we know that one of the law enforcement officers, I can't remember which one now, he slipped up. And it's very possible that you heard that, Willie. You'd have to, if you could email me, let me put my email back up. If you could email me the timestamp of this, where you think I mean, we're going to listen to her testimony in a couple of weeks. So how about, I'm going to make a note of that. Let's all be on the lookout for what Willie thinks he heard in her testimony. In the early testimony, I thought Jem named an IT guy in Family Friends. Okay. So early testimony. So you mean like towards the beginning, was it with Lally or was it on the cross? Because we're going to get to Jen McCabe here in just a couple weeks. And now that the trial is going to be starting later, we're going to have plenty of time. So we'll do our Truck Young Adults next week. We'll probably squeeze in Sarah Levinson next week now, since we're going to be a little behind due to these weird tech issues with StreamYard. So let's plan on doing the 3 in the truck and Sarah Levinson next week. And then let's do Colin and Allie. And then in 2 weeks, let's do Jen McCabe. Let's do it. I'm ready for her. I'm really ready for her. Probably we'll all have to take Tylenol PM after we're done that night for sure. But first trial. Okay. So I made a note of that, Willie, that first trial, Jen McCabe says something about an IT guy. I've got it in my notes for Jen McCabe night.
Oh, look, there it is. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Suzanne says, Julie, what do you think about Durano not being on the CW witness list? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trooper kill me. Well, no, I think that he is, because that's what he said on the stand. I'm not, no one, disclaimer, that's just what he said on the stand. He said, oh, kill me. So I don't think he's on.
Thank you. That's what it was. I could not think of it. I knew it was something bad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He went, oh, kill me.
Yeah.
There was an accident that happened off the Pike in Boston or nearby that involved him. So he's out of commission. So I don't know if it's medical reasons why they're not calling him. Very strange though, because he's in this case and he's also in the Birchmore case. So something fishy there.
The witness list, as long as you guys brought it up, let me pull this up. I took a screenshot of the person on Twitter X today and I think I shared it out on my page, but if I didn't, I'll repost it. If you guys want to go to my Twitter X page, I'll also put it on my Facebook page. Her screen name on Twitter X it looks like it's Galula, Ghoula. Thank you, Galua. I appreciate you. She said, I made this because it was driving me crazy trying to figure out what had changed. So she made this really nice list, and how she's got it broken up is civilian witnesses 1 through 39, Canton Fire Department 40 through 47, law enforcement witnesses 48 through 56. Is it Needham? Is that how you guys pronounce it? Needham or Needham? Needham Police Department, number 57, Massachusetts State Police 58 through 65, Forensics Laboratory Witnesses 66 through 67. UC Davis is the Veterinary Genetic Laboratory. That's the new person, 68. Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory, 69 through 74.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Expert witnesses, 75 through 88. Now here it is, guys. Counsel for defendant, 89 through 91. 90
coming with them. Wow.
It's right here on my phone. 91.
Wow.
Can you even imagine if they do call all of these people? And then here's the defense. And then the defense, she writes, sorry, guys, the defense didn't turn it in like the CW did, where it was all broken down. So somebody, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Somebody needs to break down the defendant one, just like this. I have to say, I give CW the kudos for breaking it down as civilian, Canton, law enforcement. That's really helpful. The defense did not turn it in that way. It's dated March 18th. And let me just run it down for you. 1,
I'm not sure.
Brian Albert. 2, Caitlin Albert. 3, Christopher Albert. 4, Colin Albert. 5, Julie Albert. 6, Kevin Albert. 7, Nicole Albert. Now, what do you think of that? If they're going to call them in that order, they're just going Albert. They're taking a different strategy, right? That's all the Alberts. Boom, 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 boom. I find that pretty interesting. Then 8 is Michael Wagner. I don't know who that is. Does anyone know who that is? I'm going to find out. I'm going to fix this list for her. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, somebody broke it down. I forget who it was, but they broke it down by saying like, okay, this one's this one, because they brought it down by saying like, well, this one's wife, and this one was
okay. Good. Well, I'll find that for you guys.
Somebody did it online. I think it was Lamplighter.
Oh yeah, Lamplighter.
Lady. Yeah.
I really like this first one though. The one by the CW where it's all broken down by civilian witnesses is really helpful. So I'm going to look for the one for defense. But guess how many they have on theirs? 91.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch this time. Yeah.
Do the math. That's 182 witnesses. That's absolutely unheard of. That's insane. That I can't even imagine how long that's going to take. Can you, anybody?
Oh, how long it's going to take? It's going to take, let's see, the last one took fucking forever. So this one's going to take fucking forever times 3. So that's how long it's going to take.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Julie, sorry to interrupt now. Let's go back to your screen here.
No, this is, so like, just to kind of go into this, just to kind of blanket, like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on with I mean, Twitter sucks anyways, so just stay away from Twitter.
Well, like, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't.
Well, it's good to get the scuttlebutt, like that. Like it's good to get the
properly. Right.
Just stay away from the baddies.
It doesn't suck any more than Facebook, though. Facebook has just as much crap and nonsense on it as Twitter. I mean, they're equally bad, except they also have good points for people that are needing to touch base with people, right? Because how else are we going to do it?
Yeah, that's true.
That's how we're doing it. Nobody uses email. Nobody uses chat rooms. I mean,
really?
If you want
nobody does email anymore. What am I, 1,000 years old? Jesus.
No, nobody uses email. We're all 1,000 years old. If you want to keep up with what's going on and you're in the heat of this, like all of us that are in this chat tonight, and most of us that are going to be on replay tomorrow and the next day, you have to be on some kind of social media in order to keep up with all of this.
How can the jury take that? Yeah, exactly. That's why I forget who called him. They called Lally the human rain delay. And that's basically what it was with all his questionings. Then that's why Proctor was put in the middle and everything else. Like, so it kind of sort of worked to his advantage. But this one's going to be a whole different ballgame. But yeah, so like all the shit that's online, like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Everybody's freaking out. Like the content creators are going bananas with who's doing this, who's doing that, what the turtle stuff means, what the witness intimidation stuff means. And then text stream data dropped by Brennan, which just like, again, he didn't say what there was. He just said like, oh, you're going to show that 1232. And then everybody lost their mind saying, oh my God, that can't be the case. That can't be the case. And I said, listen, everybody just calm down. Okay. What the defense's job is not to prove the case. That's what the prosecution's supposed to do. They're supposed to come there. They're supposed to investigate. They're supposed to do a thorough, whatever it is. And they're supposed to say, yep, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is exactly what happened. This is how this piece of glass came there. This is how his shirt came there. This is why he was like this. This is why blood came out. That's what they're supposed to do. Everybody seems to have forgotten that on the prosecution side because they're playing defense of the defense. So when that came out saying the Lexus disconnected from John's phone at 12:32 and everybody lost their mind saying, oh my God, that couldn't be. What if this? Oh my God, guilty, guilty, guilty. What are we going to do? So I said, you know what? Everybody calm down. Let me make a video that shows a hypothetical situation. So this is what I did here. This is my driveway. This is my car. I have a big douchebag car too. It's just very old. I mean, I talk through it. But I mean, I can always point so I can show. I point with my hands because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this. But again, this is 60. I'll do this. But all right. So this is, again, so just to do disclaimer, this is a hypothetical of what might have happened at 34 Fairview at 12:32 in the morning or at night on January 29th, 2022. Okay. So let's see.
Thank you. And let us know if it sounds garbled because we've been having trouble with video tonight. That's why we're not listening to Ryan and
Okay.
Heather, guys.
Okay. All right. We're good.
We're recording? I think so.
Can you hear that? Okay.
It is Friday.
Hang on. All right. Can everybody hear that?
You might have to turn it up a little.
Okay. Hang on. Let's see.
March 21st, 2025. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, just checking. Okay. So a lot of shit going on online. I don't like it. Because court came out and said some shit. And that's fine. They're gonna say some shit. That's fine. Alright. So we're gonna do this quick little video just to show something else. Or just to show that people can say whatever they want. And it doesn't mean a damn thing until the gavel struck. Okay? So a lot of people are getting upset about text stream data because, oh, Hank said this and Hank said that and blah, 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 blah. So what I'm going to do is say, hey, facts haven't changed. We haven't seen this. He can say whatever he wants. He could just say, oh, I misinterpreted or whatever. I'm not a lawyer. Just let me know. All right. What we're going to do here, this is my car. This is a full-size Volvo.
Can you guys hear this okay?
A little shorter. Karen's Lexus, about 6 inches taller, so right there. Tires are bigger. But obviously, 6'2", 74 inches.
Okay, cool.
I am 5'8" and a little bit, 68 and call it a half inches. So I just about line up with where Officer John O'Keefe would be on Karen's Lexus. This is a Volvo. This is 66 inches high, right there. There's a spoiler right there. Okay, here's the tail light. Here's a windshield wiper, and right here, I don't know, I'm going to show you some pictures. Right here is a dent. Now that dent is about 20. I think I measured by the picture, just approximately. That's about 20 inches away. And there's a lot of theories online, which we'll talk to. And they're saying that John stood here next to this and was hit. I'll just show you. Doesn't match up right away. I measured my arms 29 inches. A little shorter. Doesn't exactly fit. Now again, out 33 inches. Doesn't exactly match.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if you can hear that, but on Karen's car, I have a larger lip here that's about 4 inches. It kind of jots out. So that's what I'm saying, 27 inches from here to there. So John would, Officer John O'Keefe's arm would match up a little closer. So this is what I'm basically saying. Like, okay, this is what it looks like if I was straight out, and this is what it would look like if it was bent. So I'm just going on about that. So yeah, see, right there.
There's also, let's do over here. I know it's hard to see. It took me forever.
Right here.
There's also a dent on Karen's car, and I'll show you that on the passenger side, right about here. And I'll go over to it and show you where it's pushed in. Now, there was one person who is on a different YouTube show, has a theory saying that when John O'Keefe's forearm hit, he pushed into, because my theory is that there's no dent. And
Right here.
the person
Yeah,
pointed
right here.
over here and said, well, obviously there's the dent. That would only work if John O'Keefe's forearm right here is at least 5.5 feet long. Or his humerus is 5.5 feet long, which is your upper arm. Now, I've never met the man. Based on pictures, don't think it's 5.5 feet long. So that theory is just bunk. But how do you explain that? Well, this is what I'm going to show you. And this is why you'd say, they can turn around and say, well, Karen's Lexus disconnected with his Bluetooth at 12:32, and that means that their theory is bunk. Well, it's up to the Commonwealth to have a theory. The defense is supposed to defend, not come up with alternate theories. That's what they're supposed to do. They're doing third person. I don't know why, but again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get in the car. I'm using my phone. So this will be John's iPhone. Okay. I'm going to represent Officer John O'Keefe in this. This is going to be his iPhone, and this is going to be the beverage that he had. Again, I'm not going to use glass. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to give you an alternate theory or hypothetical theory. That's a better one. Hypothetical theory of him getting out of Karen's car and what possibly could explain all of this. Okay, I'm going to walk over. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me, but. Okay. Go inside. Go inside. All right, so here I am. And also, I'm very drunk. So here we go. This is the hypothetical. I'm not actually drunk.
You're very drunk if you're John.
Sidewalk. Go up. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Now I'm guessing Karen's probably screaming. Going, yeah, shut up, crazy psycho. What? Fuck you. Now my shoulder hurts, so. Yeah, I have a bad shoulder.
You're driving. I'm dead. What does a new kid say? I'm dead. I'm dead.
You would have seen him get out. There's a lip in front of 34 Fairview. Yeah. Hang on. That was the big point that I was trying to make that I didn't explain beforehand. Is that if you look at the picture, and that's what I showed on the Lexus too, is that it doesn't go from street to grass. It goes from street to lip to grass. So
Yes.
That-
And
or
so,
that-
and you just wrote in there, OJO is 6 feet 2 or 74 inches tall. The Lexus is 6 feet or 72 inches.
yeah.
Shauna just gave you 4 exclamation marks. Shauna says, I always thought he threw his glass.
Oh, wait, there's more. Hang on. Go back. You can see, fell back. That was the original theory too. Here. And landed right where that dent is. Oh, wait, hang on one second. If I knew how to hang on, hang on 1 second. So I just want to do this again. Disclaimer: this is me, doing a mock fall because I don't want somebody to go online and clip this and say, "See, this fat fuck went into the car and she didn't even dent it." Like, no, I wasn't doing that. Okay, so.
Do not call yourself fat either.
Right, where's my thing? Right in the middle, right here. Okay, so that's just an alternate theory. That also explains the dent the dent on the side right here, and the dent right here. Now again, if I knew how to throw, you would have seen the cup land and not spill all over creation. Let me see if I can do that again. Yeah, I'm just going to get the cup. This is the only we're gonna do a little less water. Right, that's gonna hurt the shoulder. Okay, so I know we're losing light. Yeah, I know that was my fault. Okay, so again, I'm gonna walk out, and I don't know if you can hear me, but we're gonna do a scenario where again, Karen's inside. We're assuming that they were screaming at one another because why else would you be that hot? That's what she said. Yep. Hypothetical. So I'm gonna walk in again. Something is going to cause them either going to stumble or most likely I'm going to step up on that lip that's in front of 34 Fairview. I'm going to fall back. Again, Karen's probably screaming at him because, oh my God, it's particulars. What happened? Did we stop? Nope, we're still going. Okay. Because, oh my God, my car. They get mad and say, oh, you give a shit more about the car. Get mad, throw the cup. Okay? So I don't know if you can hear me, but that's what's basically going to happen.
Yep. Julie is my new queen of the Karen Reed case.
I don't know about that.
Oh, no, we need to make this little clip go viral. I'm going to clip this and we're all going to share the shit out of this because this is good stuff, Julie.
All right, wait a second. All right, you got to listen to this. Okay, got to listen a little bit. Oh, wait a second. 1 second. Hang on. And, okay. Oh, shit. Hang on.
talking over my own thing. Okay, so all right, so so good catch, MCAT. So I completely forgot to shut the door, but I was also thinking because, well, I'll tell you afterwards. I forgot something in the first time I did this, so I was so focused on like, let me make sure I do this the right before I lose the lights. I can show you guys tonight. So good catch, MCAT. So we're just gonna pretend that I shut the door.
I have a question real quick. Can we pause for 2 seconds?
Yep. Hang on. Okay. Yep. Good.
Did my screen just light up a little bit brighter? Chat, can you let me know? I've been messing around in the settings a little bit while Julie's been taking us through this, trying to figure out what the heck happened, why we couldn't play, because we're listening to your video just fine and it's not garbled or anything. So I've been trying to do my own tech work, trying to figure out what the heck happened tonight, why we couldn't listen to Julie. I mean, why we couldn't listen to Ryan. Did the screen just look like it got brighter? Because on my end, whatever I just did that I must have undid something I did accidentally when Julie and I were on today, because we went into the live stream room today and I think I screwed something up. But my screen just got much brighter just now when I just messed with something techie. So let me know if it looks brighter to you guys. I would love that. Okay, go ahead and keep going, my dear Julie. This is gold. This stuff is gold. I'm going to figure out I know how to do it, but I'll clip it in the YouTube studio and I'm going to share the shit out of it on my Twitter and on my Facebook. And I'm going to ask everybody to do the same because what you're doing here is so great.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just a girl with hope, with some time in her hands and some.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm just a Bostonian.
I know.
I'm just a Bostonian resident with too much time on my hands.
That's right.
My friend
crazy.
Yes, Julie, craziest person on earth. Kathy Coppin says, "Great exhibit, Julie. You are so funny." And then
I try.
I want to ask you something too. Let me go back up here a second. Yes, MCAT agreed with me. You are not fat. Do not call yourself fat. And then MCAT said, you think door was left open. Do you think the door was left open, that John left the door?
that was an oversight. We're just going to pretend that because we're just going to pretend that the door was shut because I was focused on doing other stuff. So yeah, we're good.
Got it. Because I think the kids in the truck would have noticed that if they pulled up behind Karen and John had left the door open and Karen hadn't closed it yet. I think they would have noticed that.
So, all right. So just like quick disclaimer, this is hypothetical if 1232, if what Hank is saying is correct, where the Lex is disconnected to John's Bluetooth at 1232. So this is, I think, 8 minutes past that because they showed up at 1222 or 10 minutes. Yeah. So they wouldn't have seen. So again, they drove by and they said that they saw Karen just sitting in the car. Again, we don't know if this is true, but there could be a multitude of reasons. He could
with the dome light on. Remember,
with the dome light on. Yeah, exactly. With the dome light on. I mean, like he could be pissing in the bushes. He could be talking to Higgy. He could be, around the corner doing whatever. He could be, blowing his nose. Who knows? Doing snot rockets. Who knows? So.
More about something than anything else. And see. Okay. Then she drives off. We'll show this. Okay. Where's my thing? All right. So
again, the door's closed. Okay, door's closed.
The hell with this. Fuck yourself, like she said in the video.
Right.
And what do we have here? We have cup, alcohol, I'm guessing.
Right.
Back of the car. And oh my god, a phone. I mean, this also gives credibility to, or gives credence to why there were so many calls to that phone. But again, it's not up to the defense to prove the case. It's up to them to say, is this your theory? Okay, let's put some reasonable doubt in this. And that's
exactly. It's all about reasonable doubt and the moral certainty, right? Going.
And scene. Okay. Wow, it got dark quick. That was a 9-minute video and it got dark very quickly. Okay.
Yeah, it did. So tell me, Julie, what made you think that you're sort of agreeing with the CW that John threw the glass?
Well, yeah. So that came out very early on in pretrial, and I don't know why it didn't get as much traction, but also that's why ARCA came out with their theory for the potato cannon. And yes, it is a potato gun that they made. They pressurized a piece of PVC and they shot glasses at it at certain distances to get the speed correctly.
Right.
Correct. That's basically all that they did. I mean, yeah, it sounds wonderful when you go, "Ooh, we made a cannon." Wonderful. Okay, whatever. Like, all right, be excited about that, not be excited about that. Okay, great. But that's basically like a lot of these things are just like, okay, here's the theory. Like, it's not exciting. Like, we're gonna blow this up. Like, it's a lot of like small stuff. But so the theory is that I think they said that Paul O'Keefe said that they thought that the theory was that somebody saw, or like they saw, like early on they saw the two of them fighting, Officer John O'Keefe and Karen Reed fighting, and he got out of the car and she went to either go drive away or he walked away, or both happened. They both, he walked away and drove. Again, it's just me doing this, so I was going to do one where somebody drives the car and I crash into the side of the thing and then chuck a drink at it. So something like that happened, but they said that the theory was that somebody was that he threw the glass at the rear of the car and it struck the taillight, and that's what cracked the taillight, and then it exposed the taillight, and that's when Grant's mother came up with the theory saying that it exposed the taillight, and that's what ate him, and and then spit him out, and that's why he was where he was.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's where that came from. And then when Trooper Paul got on the stand, oh my God, God help us, we have to listen to that again. But Trooper Paul went on the stand and basically changed the theory 3 times. It went from
while he was on the stand.
While he was on the fucking stand. Oh my God.
How could any sane jury member, 12 jury members, not understand the fuckery disclaimer in that, right? I mean, that's just insane.
Oh my God.
There's so much. That was great, Julie. That was a great test. For those that are just joining us, you have to bring up the Julie Nagel Black Blob and show everybody again what t-shirt you have on the Black Blob. The t-shirt was purchased through the fundraiser that Oblivious Benson OB did for Uncle Frank for her new kidney. They sold these t-shirts.
Oh, where is it? Hang on. Let's see. You want to see? Yep, because it says Nagel's Blob up here. It says Nagel's Blob up here.
Nagel's Blob.
This is the shirt that I decided to put on my Nagel's Blob because it got a little cold. It says, "I was touched at Camp Shorty," which all proceeds go towards helping Uncle Frank get her kidney and recover from minusing a kidney.
Yes. And we send out love and support to you, Uncle Frank. If you watch this in replay, we know you just went through a hellacious time in the hospital and having to remove the kidney they gave her years ago because it wasn't working right anymore and it was causing her to be very ill. She had posted that on her Twitter, and now she's got to wait for another new kidney. So she's on the list, I believe. And we send her love and appreciation for all of the support she's been to Free Karen Reed and all of the advocacy that she's done. And to you too, Auntie Deb, because you are her bestie. So I'm sure this has been very stressful for you. So we're thinking of you both. Wow, that was fantastic. So just because I'm going to do a test here real quick now, I wanted to see, I'm going to stop sharing my screen with what you had. I'm just going to see if the little bit of stuff that I just did, if there's any way we could still listen to a little bit of Ryan Nagel. So I'm going to try and share my screen one more time and see if it's still garbled. Then I'm going to know for sure there's something really wacky going on tonight. So let me see what happens. Now, you guys let me know right away if it's still all garbled, please.
Wonder if you know my cousins. Who are your cousins? Are you Italian?
Type that in the chat. Okay, let's see what happens. Let me know right away if it's still garbled.
Meet up with my sister.
And so your girlfriend at the time, and what was her name?
Heather Maxim.
And your friend Ricky, what's his last name?
D'Antano.
And you and your girlfriend at the time, Miss Maxim, how long had the two of you been dating?
Probably about a year and a half.
That's better. Yeah, it's better.
And Ricky, how long?
Is it better?
Oh, probably since grade, so pretty long time.
No.
And you went to C.F. McCarthy's. Is that a establishment you're familiar with?
Yes, sir. It's in the center of town.
I've been there plenty of times before.
Yes, sir.
And did you go just sort of the three of you, or did you meet someone else there?
Met my sister there.
Okay, then I fixed it. All
And
right, well,
where
let's roll.
within the
I'll kind of
bar
keep an eye on the Michigan State game on my
I
phone.
believe at a table.
Let's
So
do
my
it.
acknowledgement,
Let's
so what I
listen to
remember, yeah.
Let's listen to Ryan.
Do you recall sort of what side of the bar you
I was on the, I believe I was on the left side near the
What
bathroom.
channel is
I'm going to
Michigan
go
on?
forward though,
and on the left side towards
because
the back?
this is
Correct.
we don't care about this.
And do you
I'm
recall
going
about
to
what
fast
time
forward
it
a
was
little
that
bit.
you got?
I
Thank
don't know,
you
probably,
for
I don't even
telling
really
crime
remember.
stories.
7, 8. It was a 2018 F-150 pickup truck.
Recall the-
Gray, dark gray.
And he picked you up, is that correct?
Correct, sir.
And was Miss Maxon with you when he picked you up?
Yes.
Now, as far as C.F. McCarthy's was concerned, you're at a bar,
Right.
you were
That
drinking,
one
is that
doesn't let
correct?
me put
Correct, sir.
comments, so I'll go back to that one.
Probably beer. It's usually what I drink.
A particular brand or anything?
Coors Light.
And as far as your girlfriend at the time, Miss Maxon, do you recall what, if anything, she was drinking?
I would probably say beer as well. I'm probably either Bud Light or Mick Ultra.
And your friend Ricky, was he drinking as well?
Yeah, he had a few.
And if you know about how long were you at CF
Good night,
McCarthy?
Suzanne.
Probably a
Thank
few
you for
hours,
all your
probably
great
2,
comments
maybe
tonight.
3
We'll
hours.
see you again next Friday.
Following that, where did you go?
From there, we went to, so a friend of mine shot me a text and we went to the Hillside, which is on the other side of town.
And you familiar with that establishment as well?
Yes, sir.
And when you say it's on the other side of town, about how long is the drive sort of between C.F. McCarthy's and Hillside?
Probably 10 minutes.
And when you arrive there, how many friends are we talking about that you're meeting up with?
It was just one other gentleman.
And fair to say when you get there, you have some more drinks?
Yes, sir.
Same thing?
Yep.
And if you know in total, sort of over the course of the evening, as you're going from one place to the other, how many beers did you have?
Probably between, I don't know, 5 to 8, maybe, give or take. I'm not sure.
And is that a large amount or a normal amount? How would you?
I guess for the weekend, it'd probably be like a normal, maybe, I guess.
You weren't driving that night?
No, sir. No, it was not.
And about how long was it that you were at the Hillside?
I would say I was probably there hour-ish, give or take.
And do you know about what time you left?
Probably around midnight.
And when you left from there, where was it that you went?
I went to pick up my sister, Julie, because she shot me a text asking for a ride.
And so you were at the Hillside when you received the text from your sister, Julie, correct?
Correct, sir.
And did she, what if anything, did she indicate as far as where she was or where you were going to pick her?
She said she was at her friend Brian's house.
And is that friend Brian, is that someone that you're familiar with?
Yes, sir.
Who do you know that person?
Just my sister's best friend since they were kids.
And I'm sorry, do you know what his last name is?
Oh, Albert.
And his house, have you been there before?
I've driven by it a few times, yes.
Is that somewhere you would pick your sister up from on Pirate?
Yes, sir.
And again, as far as when you leave from the Hillside and you're going to this address, did you know what the address was, or did you have to ask your sister for it? Or
No, I already knew where the house was.
did you know specifically what the address was, or you just knew generally where?
I didn't know the address. I knew the street name, but I didn't know the number.
What did you know the street name?
Fairview.
And as you exit the Hillside, get in the truck, and
Ricky is driving. I'm in the passenger seat, and Heather is in the back seat.
And the back seat, as far as Ricky's truck is concerned, can you describe sort of what that is?
It was like a jump seat. It's the crew cab, so it's got like the suicide doors in the back.
And by suicide doors, you mean they sort of open up in like sort of a triangle? Is that?
Yes, sir.
Now, about how long was it after you received the text from your sister to the time that you sort of jump in the truck and start to go over to Fairview?
Probably 40 minutes or so. We kind of took our time. She said she didn't like, she wasn't saying come now. She just said, when you get a second, you come pick me up and bring me home.
And if you know about how long a drive is it from the Hillside to Fairview?
5 minutes, 7 minutes maybe.
And as you're driving along, as far as the address is concerned, is that something that you gave to Ricky as far as the GPS, or were you giving him sort of verbal directions?
Verbal directions.
Do you recall what you sort of said as far as where to go?
Yes, sir.
And what was that, sir?
Like the direction we went, you mean? Like the street?
I think we can move beyond that, Mr. Lally.
What I'm trying to ask, sir, is as you're approaching Fairview, call which side of Fairview or how you approach Fairview.
I was coming down Cedar Crest, so Fairview would be on my left.
And as you're coming down Cedar Crest with Fairview on your left, what, if anything else, did you observe sort of in front of the truck?
I noticed a car coming up the hill towards us.
There it
Can you
is.
Describe the other car that you saw coming up.
It was a black SUV.
And was that a black SUV that you were familiar with or anything like that?
No, no.
I didn't get the end of the question, please.
I'm sorry.
Sir, if you could just, and I know it's difficult, but if you could just wait till I finish the question.
Yep. Sorry, sir.
So I'm sorry. So as you were coming up, you see this black SUV. Did you recognize it as something you had seen before?
No, sir.
And so you're approaching at the same time, is that correct?
Yeah, just about, yes.
And with regard to Fairview being on the left, what, if anything, had Ricky done with respect to the vehicle to signal the left?
He put his left blinker on.
And that other vehicle that was coming in the opposite direction, what, if anything, did you observe as far as their direction?
They had their right directional on.
And so as a result of that, what, if anything, did
He flashed his headlights to let the person go because they were going to beat us, obviously, to the turn. So.
And when they were coming in, so they went first, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ricky's truck then proceeds behind that black SUV onto Fairview.
Yes, sir.
And as you're coming up to the house, to Brian Albert Jr.'s house, where did that black SUV go?
Probably about kind of right in front of the house, I would say.
Same house that you were going to? Is that
Correct, sir. Yes.
And as far as vehicles being the black SUV and Ricky's truck, are they facing in the same direction?
Yes, sir.
And which side of the truck that you're in is facing towards house Brian's house?
Say that again. Sorry.
So, very poorly put question. So with regard
I
to
agree.
the truck that you're in,
I've always thought
is
that
it the
MCAT.
driver's side, the passenger side, or something else that's facing the house?
Oh, passenger side. So my side.
Nothing
Your
else
side and
makes
the passenger
sense to
side
me.
facing the house.
Yes, sir.
And where did Ricky stop the truck in relation to the house?
Right in front of the driveway.
And when you stop in front of the driveway, about how far away from you is the black SUV?
Probably a car length in front of me. A car length and a half in front of me.
And as you're sitting behind that, what, if anything, was in between the truck, Ricky's truck, and the black SUV in front?
There was nothing, sir.
Pay attention to that and write that down so that when we get to Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe, we can all say liar, liar, pants on fire, because this kid has no reason to lie. Heather, and we're going to hear Heather and we're going to hear Ricky. They have no reason to lie and involve themselves in this nightmare, right? So let's listen. I had to say that because this is very important, because this is absolutely not what Jen and Matt say.
And at any point in time that you were there in front of the house, did you observe anybody get out of that truck? I mean, get out of the SUV?
No, sir, I did not.
And when you arrived there, what, if any, communication do you have with Julie inside the house in reference to your presence?
I texted her when we were coming down Cedar Crest saying, hey, I'm almost here. Get ready to come out.
And about how long was it between the time that Ricky parks in front of the driveway and the time that your sister comes out?
Probably about 2 minutes.
And do you recall seeing her exit from the house?
Yes, I do.
And how did she sort of exit, and how did she come up to the truck?
You mean like what door?
What door, and how did she?
I would say the side door next to the garage.
And how was it that did she come across the lawn, down the driveway? How did she come up to
Yeah, she crossed through the lawn a little bit, but obviously walked down the driveway because we were at the end of it.
And at this time, when you're in front of the house on Fairview, what was the weather doing at that point?
It just started to snow, sir.
And as far as accumulation
What
on
started,
the road
he
or
said.
the grass or anything, did you see anything like that?
Very little. Wasn't too much on the ground yet.
And as far as when your sister was walking down from the house to the truck, did you see anything as far as like footprints in the snow or anything like that?
No, I was not really looking for that.
So not anything you noticed?
No, sir.
So she comes to the truck. How was it that you spoke to her? Did you roll down the window, open the door? How did that?
I opened the door just because I assumed she was going to jump in the back seat. And she goes, oh, would you guys like to come inside? I looked over at Ricky and he goes,
Yes, and welcome. Great to have you, Just Me Gaming. Absolutely. We've all said that. We were talking about it last week when we listened to Julie Nagel's testimony, that she never says a word about the Jeep being parked there. So that is a huge red flag. And here's what I think happened. There were so many witnesses that came after these three young adults. And unfortunately, I don't really get it, but Yannetti, Jackson, they just did not blow this up like they should have. These three people are your witnesses. They exonerate Karen in my mind. And I hope to God in the second trial that this is going to be hammered in on, because none of them talk about Higgins Jeep. And if Jen and Matt McCabe dare try to change their testimony that they didn't see Higgins Jeep, they better for sure go to the record of the first trial, right? So this is shenanigans times 1,000. Okay, I just wanted to make a comment of that and welcome Just Me Gaming into our live chat tonight. Appreciate you guys.
Goes, maybe we should call it a night. 'Cause it was, obviously we were out for a long time. So she goes, no, I'm gonna stay a little longer. And so she shut the door and I watched her go in the house and that was it.
And from the time that your sister came out and the time that she went back in the house,
Maybe 30, 45 seconds tops.
a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah, it was kind of like an in and out thing.
Now, as far as the black SUV in front of you, what, if anything, did you observe about movement of that vehicle at any point?
I noticed that the brake lights, the only reason I noticed is because the brake lights were on and it moved up maybe another car length in front of us from where it was.
And when was that in relation to when you were parked out there waiting for Julie, talking to Julie? When did that?
Probably simultaneously when she came out the door.
So moved up a little bit further, about a car and a half,
Further away from us.
facing the same direction?
Yes, sir.
And was that the only time that you observed the vehicle move up, or did it move up again?
No, that was the only time I saw her move.
And when you say the brake lights, what part of the brake lights were you looking at?
The only reason I noticed that it was the brake lights and not the regular parking lights because the third light above is on.
And so above, sort of in the center of the back of the vehicle?
Correct, sir. Yes.
As far as any of the other lights or any other part of the vehicle, what, if any, damage did you observe on the vehicle at that time?
I did not observe. It was dark out.
And as far as when the vehicle moved up from one position to the next position, what, if anything, did you observe in the roadway as far as tire marks in the snow or anything like that?
I didn't really observe any other tracks in the snow besides the car in front of us.
So you did observe tire marks from the car in front of you,
Yes.
but no other tire marks that you saw.
No, sir.
And as far as around the vehicle, at any point in time, did you observe anybody exit the vehicle or be outside of the vehicle or anything like that?
No, sir. No, I did not.
And did you see anybody go from the vehicle to the house?
No, sir.
And did you see any footprints in the snow or anything like that around the vehicle?
No, mainly because obviously it was late at night and I wasn't really looking for any of that.
As far as your sister, when she comes out to the truck outside, how would you describe, did she seem overly intoxicated to you?
Yeah, it seemed like she had a few.
Words or stumbling as she was walking?
No, sir.
Yes, from the time that you came down from Cedar Crest, is that right?
Correct, sir. Yes.
So from the time that you came down from Cedar Crest, the black SUV is in front of your vehicle sort of the entire time, correct?
From like the point I turned onto Seacrest, you mean?
Yes.
No, the only time I saw the vehicle was when we probably got up 100 feet from Fairview.
And I'm sorry, it's a poorly put question. What I'm asking is, after you turn from Cedar Crest on to Fairview, that vehicle is in front of you the entire time?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
And so you watch your sister Julie go back up to the house, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I did.
So to make sure she got inside okay?
Yes,
And did you observe her go inside the house?
I did. Yes.
And after she gets inside the house, what, if anything, did Ricky do with the truck?
He pulled out to go around the SUV in front of us and then to go home.
And as far as pulling out, as far as sort of the distance between the truck that you're in and the SUV that's in front of you, did Ricky put it in reverse and then have to like maneuver around, or could he just sort of pull away from the curb?
He just pulled away.
And as he's going by the dark SUV, what, if anything, did you observe with reference to that?
I observed that there was a person inside the car with the interior light on.
And that would be sort of a dome light, is that right?
Correct, sir. Yes.
Could you see where the dome light was, as far as in the left, right, or center of the vehicle?
I was in the center.
And you described the person that you saw. Where were they? First of all, where were they in the car?
They were in the driver's seat.
And can you describe what the person looked like?
It was a woman.
And how do you know that it was a woman?
With long hair.
Do you know what color the hair was?
No, I didn't. Wasn't really paying attention to it. I was kind of just watching Julie go in as we were pulling away.
So your direction was to the house as you were watching Julie go in and Ricky's pulling away sort of simultaneously?
Yes, sir.
So that's why you're looking over in that area of the house?
Correct.
And the woman that you see in the driver's seat of the vehicle, could you see her lips moving as if she was talking or anything like that?
No, I wasn't really paying attention to that.
And as far as what, if anything, did you observe her to be doing, or how was she seeing?
It seemed like she was looking straight ahead with her hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel.
Now, as far as the other, what, if anything else, did you see, or who, if anyone else, did you see within the interior of the vehicle at that time?
I only saw one person at the time. I didn't I wasn't really looking. It just happened to be like at a glance as we drove by.
And so your head's already
That's
turned in that
interesting.
direction, looking.
Okay.
That's
Let's
interesting.
yeah, let's unpack this for a second because yeah. So okay.
First of all,
So-
fucking Lally's putting me to sleep. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I can't stand this guy. But I don't know. This Hank Brennan's way worse to me than Lally. But
He's more of a weasel.
let me go up and just say what the chat has to say here. So Just Me Gaming says a group of cops have a house party and kill one of the guests and throws the body on the lawn. They tell the investigators the guy never entered the house and no search is done in that house. Exactly. That's been one of the major red flags, major problems. Every single person on the jury should be up in arms about this. Why in the world would the police break protocol so badly that they don't search the house of another cop where the person was found dead in the yard? It is absolutely ludicrous. It makes no sense. It's against all police protocol. I've talked to so many ex-cops, retired cops. Nobody understands this case at all. So thank you, Just Gaming, for adding that. And then MCAT says it's also unbelievable. And she agreed with me about these 3 young adults, that they have no skin in the game and they need to be highlighted. And they absolutely do, because I as much as we may not, you may not like Ryan because he mouthed off, if you're, a big time turtle rider and a big fan of Aiden, and he mouthed off at Aiden that night when he was at the restaurant this summer. Ryan was still, I thought, a very good witness. I just don't see a single lie coming out of his mouth. I really don't. You could tell he was nervous, but I don't think he told a lie at all. I think he was completely truthful. Just Me Gaming says that is what happened, and this is why the CW will lose this case, to blame the driver that dropped John off at 34 Fairview. Right, exactly. Well, the CW didn't technically blame her, right? The police set her up and framed her. So the CW had no choice, because it was a pretty decent frame job in the beginning, until all of this evidence has been coming out and it's been unraveling before everyone's eyes, right? Most of us never believed it. I never thought it was a good frame job. And I've told you many times why, because I don't ever believe police would ever screw up that bad. You'd have to be the worst police department in the entire United States, not saying Canton's all that great, but they're not that bad. And Massachusetts State Police, they're not that bad. It was all they were told to F up is what happened.
A lot of coincidences are not a coincidence.
Correct. These cops had been going way too far for too long. Same reason they removed all 3 layers of the taillight proves they smashed it and harvested the pieces to plant at 34 Fairview. Yes, I agree with you 100%. And everybody that's done the taillight, going back and forth with all the theories on the taillight and what is mathematically possible, what is statistically possible, right? Yes, for sure. It's impossible to break all 3 layers in one strike with a human arm. That's right. It's
impossible to break the glass with a human arm the way that they're concocting it. I mean,
right,
Hank Green already he already, even before anything happened, he already painted himself in the corner by saying, oh, well, this mark here, yeah, don't worry about that. His arm was like this. And that's how we end up with all this. Like, okay, what about this mark over here? What are you going to say? Like, oh, something else did that. I don't know.
And many people have gone on Twitter, X, and Facebook who work in auto body shops and who work in the car industry and say this is not possible.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people have also on social media, Julie, said, why aren't they calling someone who can speak to this? Why didn't they call someone in the first trial who could speak to that? Because it was so important.
That's a very good point. And I think, and I'm almost positive they're going to have somebody talk about that.
They have to.
But also there's just a quick mention about the taillight and the polycarbonate and the construction of the taillight. Everybody keeps saying, oh, polycarbonate this, polycarbonate this, polycarbonate this. Then there's a lot of stuff online that says in the cold, polycarbonate and plastic becomes brittle because everything just kind of shrinks and contracts. If that were the case, every single car in Alaska, in Norway, Sweden, Russia, Canada would all have no taillights, no brake lights, nothing. These things are the strongest types of hydrocarbons because they're made out of petroleum. That's just a little bit of chemistry going into it. And they're made to absorb all sorts of heat and cold. And when the temperature drops below, because they kept saying, oh, well, it's 18 degrees, of course it's going to be brittle. That's why a human being would be able to strike it and it would shatter like that. No, these are made to withstand collisions with 2-ton vehicles, 3-ton vehicles, which is what the Lexus was. They're made to push and pull. They're not brittle at 200 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I think the
Right.
drop off, I wrote it up. I think the drop off is 5% drop off. So these things absorb 85,000 Newton meters.
Right.
No, right. Yeah. I think it's Newton meters or like a ridiculous amount of force. And in the cold, it drops 5%. So you go from
5%.
ridiculously indestructible to also ridiculously indestructible.
Right.
So, like, oh, it's cold, so that's why it shattered. No, if that were the case, every single car that you see in January in New England would be shattered.
Or in Wisconsin or
Yeah, exactly,
anywhere in the
Wisconsin,
Midwest
Canada,
or
anywhere else. Exactly.
right,
Yeah,
anywhere where
it
it's
drops.
freaking freezing
Yeah,
for half the
exactly.
year. Good point, Julie. Thank you so much. So let's see here. Just Gaming says the investigators are part of the CW. I thought they control the collection of the data, correct?
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry.
So he Just Me Gaming says the investigators are part of the CW. I thought they control
Yes.
the collection of the data.
Correct. Wait, the data
Well-
of like just in general data or general of the chip off, the one that happened the second
Right.
time.
And what do you mean exactly by part of the CW? Because the
Can't see my
Massachusetts
chat.
State Police isn't necessarily part of the CW. They're a separate entity.
No. That's what the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office is, and they have them all around here, like Suffolk, Essex, Middlesex. They're embedded in the DA's office, so they're
they do it differently in Massachusetts than the rest of the world.
Only ones that have, we're the only ones that have that, and every single person was like, "That's ridiculous." Like Melanie Little harps on it all the time, saying,
I never
don't
even knew
understand
that
why they're-
component. You guys are teaching me something new
don't
tonight.
know.
I did not know
Well-
that the Massachusetts State Police is like a branch or an arm of the
They're-
CW.
So the detectives are okay. So it's the Mass State Police, which is their own unit.
Right.
But so they do other stuff. They do highway. They do details. The detective units, so they are assigned to DA's office. So that's like where Proctor and Buchanan and Fanning and those guys are assigned to the Norfolk County DA's office as detectives. So they get called from the DA and say, hey, go, investigate this person. And that's why he shows up in his little khaki pants and his allegedly boner and goes and says, give me your papers or whatever the frig he says.
Right.
That's all. And so they're looking and saying, wait a minute. They're technically the same branch, but they're separate. Like they're supposed to investigate, and then they go, "Look, we have something. Let's."
That seems like a huge
it's like hired goons. Hired
interest.
goons. Here we go. Hired goons.
Yeah, that just seems like such a huge conflict of interest.
Yep, big time. I didn't even know that was a thing until this case. I'm like,
I didn't know it was a thing.
Right?
I didn't pick up on that at all in this case.
Nope.
I missed that. I just assumed
local police aren't looking either. Yeah.
Yeah, because you just assume Massachusetts State Police is just like any state police or the state troopers, where they were.
They have them in the barracks and that's it. Nope.
Wow. So I just want to read here what Just Gaming said, that it's impossible for the taillight to function once the diffuser is removed.
Yes.
The videos they used in court recently, right? That Hank used in court, where he kind of screwed himself, right?
The ones before. Nope. The ones before.
Oh, the ones before too?
Yeah, the ones the ones where it shows the taillight fully busted, where it shows the taillight and then the inside piece.
Yes.
Like half of it's taken out, and you look and you go, wait a minute, can you turn this on? Like you should have been able to do it. That's why they just allegedly destroyed the whole entire thing, in my opinion. That's what I look at. Because if they said, hey, take this somewhere, how can you replicate that? You can't replicate it. So they went, we dropped it. And that's when the Waneless guy came in and was like, oh, he destroyed it. Sorry.
Right.
That's so
well,
sad.
he says the Just Me Gaming, he or she says the videos they used in court shows the diffuser is in place. Today that diffuser is gone.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So because they're at like different stages. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right.
This one doesn't look like this one. This one doesn't look like this one.
So those are just huge red flags that the defense has to point out this time for the jury. So let me see here. Oh, off subject. Shauna says, off subject, sort of, Julie. Do you wake up and think someone is in your living room?
You're talking about this. I thought you were just talking about
Yeah.
anyways. Like, well,
Julie-
sometimes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just messing
Yeah.
around. I'm kidding. No, no, no.
Julie Nagel needs to have the Julie Nagel blog. I need to send you my free Karen Read, my pink hat, because it matches the t-shirt I was touched at
Nagel's
Camp
blog.
40.
Well, that's why I got it. She has them in white and pink, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you know what? I could kill two birds with one stone.
So here is the deal here with Just Me.
Yes.
Says Bev is the gatekeeper that molds the testimony loud. Oh yeah, from
Bev
day
is
one,
totally
like,
the overrider.
it's
Yep.
so
Bev's the
freaking
overrider.
obvious, right, Julie? It's just so obvious.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. Kat says, Shauna, that is hilarious. Julie is awesome. Yes, we love you, Julie. The minute that you first came into my very first live stream chat, and all I saw was Julie, craziest person on earth. I'm like, I need to know this person. I even said that out loud. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I said, you need to email me. I need to know you.
And then we talked about football. So there you go.
Right. We talked about football. Exactly. Let's see here. Just Me Gaming says polycarbonate will lose some flex and become brittle at minus 40 C. Yeah.
Minus 40 Celsius is about minus 200 and something degrees Celsius, or I'm sorry, minus 132 degrees Celsius, something like that. It's 100. I'm sorry. Let me do math quick. It's over 100 degrees minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Julie's our resident math science girl. In case you guys haven't all
Antarctica, then it becomes brittle. So
right.
Yeah.
In case you all haven't figured this out, Julie is our resident science and math geek, which I am not at all. I am your resident journalism ex-cop geek, but I am terrible. I mean, I love science and I like math. I just wasn't any good at math, but science I love.
Everybody says that.
It's so good to have you as part of our Social Change Warriors team, Julie. We just love having you, and your math skills that you bring to the table, and all of your demonstrations have been so great. So Shauna says, yes, she is. I'm looking at that. I know it would freak me out when I got up to pee in the middle of the night.
Yeah. No. This did a couple of times when I first put it in there. I would come down and I go, Jesus Christ, because it blocks my window and it throws a shadow. So like a couple of times I can look over and it freaks the dog out a little bit. He's overly cautious around it.
MCAT says MSP setup is not replicated in Illinois. Super different. Stop talking about bukkakis. Oh my God.
Well said.
Well said. Well said. Our current Illinois, Iowa fan. Have a great day. Glad I found your channel from Bali, Indonesia. The world is watching.
Wow.
Holy thank you, Just Me Gaming. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, your insight is right on, and it agrees with all of us that come on Friday Night Lives. And we'd love to have you back anytime. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being part of the Free Karen Read movement all the way. This is wonderful. That you have just won our distance award. When Nick comes in the chat, he's in Australia. And when Lou comes in the chat, she's in England. Suzanne and Ken are in England. So I'll have to get the map out now and figure out who I can give the distance award to, right? You all get an award for caring. Yes, you all get an award for caring about justice for United States citizens when you live in another country. I find that incredibly admirable, and thank you so much for all your support. MCAT says, OMG, I can't balance a checkbook. I just switched banks.
That's a good strategy.
Well, I overdraft that account. Let me close that and go switch to a new bank. They can sue me. Oh my gosh. Good night, Shauna. We love you, girl. Hope you feel better. I'll be talking to you tomorrow on our thread, our text thread, I'm sure. Good night, guys. Okay, let's go back and finish up Ryan. And then now next week, we will definitely be able to plow through Heather and Ricky and Sarah Levinson with no problem. So we may even be able to start Colin. We'll have to see how the night goes. Now that I know what the tech issue was, it was all my fault. So, okay, let's finish him up. Oh, my, the puppy was playing with my cord and had my laptop was unplugged and it was running out of battery.
Oh, okay. That works too.
Yeah, that works too. I
Like a grounding
finally
issue?
figured out what it was. All right, let's finish up, Mr. Ryan. There can't be too much more with Lally.
To see your sister get inside the house, correct?
Correct, sir. Yes.
And so as
And I
you're
just
going by and you
bring it
make
back
these
to the screen
observations
for you
of
guys.
this woman in the front seat of the vehicle, what, if any, movement did you do of your body or your head to look into the vehicle?
I just turned my head as we were driving by to watch Julie go in, and then turn straight, look forward.
So it's not as if you were peeking forward or going back to get a better view inside the vehicle?
No, sir.
During the time that you were outside of the house, did you hear any noises or see or hear anything coming from that vehicle in front of you?
No, sir, I did not.
And as far as within your own vehicle, when Julie comes out, what, if anything, did you or Ricky do with regard to sort of the radio within?
Turn the music down. We had music playing.
You had music playing as you pull up, turn it down when Julie comes out to talk.
Correct, sir. Yes.
And at the time that you're pulling away from the curb, had you or anybody sort of turn the radio back up?
Not that I remember, sir. No.
Now, with reference to when Julie comes out and you open the doors so that you can talk to her, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And did you open just the front passenger door or the back door or both?
I opened my passenger door. That was it.
And you were expecting her to essentially get in at that point, is that fair?
Correct, sir. Yes, I was.
Now, when you opened the door to the pickup truck, the passenger side door, what, if anything, happened with the dome light inside the truck?
It went on.
After you go past the dark SUV, where did you go from there?
It's my house, sir.
And as far as your house, who, if anyone, gets dropped off there in addition to yourself?
Just me and Heather.
And Ricky then leaves from there, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And from that road on Fairview to your house, about how long a ride is that?
5 minutes.
When you left the roadway on Fairview, the vehicle that you had seen after it initially pulls up an additional car and a half or so, when you left, was it in the same position after its movement that you observed?
Yes.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would just ask to publish a couple of photos for use with this witness.
Okay.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 71. Recognize what is?
Yes, I do, sir. Say that again.
What do you recognize it to be?
That it's the Albert's house.
And is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what the house looked like at the night that you were there on the early morning of the 29th?
Looks like there was more snow than what I came to. Yes, sir.
Now, with reference to Ricky in the truck, you could, using that laser pointer, you see that area of the street in front of the house where Ricky parked the truck?
I do, sir. Right about there.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have the next exhibit number 72. Now, the area that you were describing when you first pull up to the house and the dark SUV is in front of you, do you see that area within this photograph?
Yes, I do, sir.
If you could, using the laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to where in this photograph you see that. And Ms. Gilman, if I could have the next photograph, next exhibit, excuse me, number 73. And what's up on the screen, do you recognize what's in that photograph?
Yes, I do, sir.
And within this photograph, you see that sort of secondary position where the vehicle moves up and where you see it in that secondary position.
Yes.
And again, if you could, using the laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to where in the photograph you observed. And from that side of the yard, is there any sort of landmarks or anything else that you observed sort of in the area where that vehicle pulled up to in that secondary position?
I know there's a flagpole there, and there, I believe it's an electrical box along with bushes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can take that. I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
No further questions for this witness. Your Honor.
Okay. Cross-examination.
Bye, Lally.
Your Honor.
Good morning,
See
Mr.
you
Nagle.
later.
Good morning.
A couple of questions for you. Since January 29th, have you been contacted by anybody from either the Albert family or the McCabe family about circumstances of January 29th, 2022?
No, I have not, sir.
Have you been contacted by any other person other than the Albert family or the McCabe family since January 29th, 2022 about your testimony or your statement?
About my statements, no, but I mean, me and Ricky are best friends, and obviously it's things that we've brought up in the past.
So-
Yes.
So you and Ricky, how do I pronounce his last name?
Dantano?
Dantano. You and Mr. Dantano have obviously discussed the circumstances of that night
Yes, sir.
and what happened.
Yes.
Did that change your testimony in any way?
No, sir. No, it did not.
You were interviewed by Massachusetts State Trooper on or about February 7th, 2022, correct?
Sounds about right. Yes.
Do you remember which state trooper that was?
At the top of my head, no.
His name Michael Proctor, sound right?
No, sir. I don't think so.
You don't believe it was Michael Proctor?
I'm not 100% sure. No, I'm not sure.
Do you remember the state trooper that did interview you had a partner named Yuri Butnik?
Yes. That sounds familiar. Yes.
During that interview, you told and I'm just going to call him the trooper, since you don't remember his name, the trooper and your Butnik, that there were two other people in the car when you approached 34th Fairview.
Say that again?
You told those two troopers that there were two other people in the car with you, Ricky D'Antonio.
Yes, in my vehicle. Yes, sir.
Okay. So they were well aware of the identity of Ricky D'Antonio and Heather Maxon. D'Antonio and Heather Maxon at the time.
Correct.
As early as February 7th, 2022.
Yes.
I want to talk for a second about your approach to Fairview Road. You were coming along Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct.
You would have been going west-ish. I know it's a curved road, sort of west. If Fairview goes north and south,
Yeah, okay. Yes.
you would have been going west and then turning south onto Fairview, correct?
Correct. Yes.
You indicated that the SUV, the dark SUV, beat your car to the intersection. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And because the car was ahead of you, Ricky flashed his lights as a courtesy to say, you got the turn.
Correct, sir.
Because both of you were approaching the intersection, but the SUV was closer.
Correct, sir.
You pulled up to Fairview and stopped relatively close to the driveway, as you've indicated to the jury, correct?
Correct, sir.
And your car was as much as 3 car lengths behind that SUV. Do you recall that?
When we arrived,
Yes.
I would say car length and a half at the time.
Okay. Do you recall being interviewed on or about May 11th, 2023 by individuals not associated with the Commonwealth?
A gentleman came to my door, but I did not speak to him.
Would it refresh your recollection? Do you remember talking in May of 2023 with anybody about this case?
I don't know, 2023 may have been the feds.
Okay, let's.
I'm trying to.
Just listen to my question.
No, I understand.
Were you talked to by anybody? Just tell me if you were talking, yes or no?
Yes, I believe so.
There it was.
Do you
May
think
have
it would
been the
refresh your
feds.
recollection as to
Thanks,
when that
Ryan.
interview took place, if you saw a report?
Yes, sure.
Okay. There's a date right up top and then a highlighted portion at the bottom. If you wouldn't mind taking a glance at that and then look up to me when you're finished reviewing that.
Okay.
Does this refresh your recollection, sir, that you indicated in that interview?
Just 2 parts. Does it refresh your recollection?
Understood. Does that refresh your recollection about what you may have said?
Yes.
So there was an interview in May of 2023,
Yes.
and you did indicate some distance that you were behind the SUV in that interview.
Yes. Well, at the beginning, it was only a car length and a half. And then probably at the end, by the time we left, it was about 3 car lengths.
Okay, fair enough. So at the end, it was as much as 20 to 50 feet ahead of you.
Give or take, yes.
Okay, so 50 feet, obviously further than the length of this courtroom.
Correct.
All right. So at a time when you were in the truck, still stationary, that SUV had pulled ahead of you at least 3 car lengths, correct?
And by the end, yes.
Okay, I've already indicated, but I want to make sure I'm clear about this. Did any car pull in between Ricky's truck and the SUV when you were sitting behind the SUV?
No, sir.
You didn't see a Jeep
No, sir.
with a big old snow plow on the front of it?
No, sir, I did not.
That car was never
It's a
between
big
your
old
car
snow
and the
plow.
SUV, was it?
I never saw any other vehicle in between us.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
When you got to the location, you indicated that you had texted your sister that you were arriving. Is that
Correct,
right?
sir. Yes.
How long before she came out the door to meet you at the car?
Then say like the text, you mean?
Correct.
2 minutes, because we were coming down Cedar Crest and I texted saying we're almost there.
And then once you got on Cedar Crest, it's just a few seconds to drive up to the driveway at Fairview, correct?
Yes.
She texted you back?
I don't remember.
You had your phone out?
Yes.
It was in, I'm guessing it was in your lap or in your hand?
I would assume yes.
Okay. So for a period of time, while you were inside the cab of the truck, as you were pulling up, you were monitoring your phone to determine whether or not she was going to text you back, step out of the house, whatever.
Yes.
Finally, your sister did come out the front door. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And when she came out the front door, you were looking toward the right.
Now, when you say front door, like there's 2 doors to the house.
That's a good point. There's let's call it a front door, which is the classic front door, and then a side door.
Correct, sir. Yes.
Which door did she come out?
The side door next to the garage.
Okay, so that would have been close to 90 degrees from where you were seated. You would have been looking to your right,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
necessarily looking straight ahead.
Correct.
All right, so for that period of time, as you're looking to your right, you see her come out the side door,
Yes, sir.
and you watch her approach down the driveway.
Correct.
So at this point, you don't know what's happening with the truck in front of you in those moments.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to that at the time.
Okay. You indicated that you said on direct examination that you believe that once she was out and at the truck, that she was there for 30 or 40 seconds.
Correct, sir.
Do you remember actually testifying at a previous hearing in May of 2022 that it was more than 5 minutes that she was out by the truck?
It was not 5 minutes. I'm saying the whole time that I was there, probably between 2 to 3.
Do you remember being asked how long, if you know, were you talking with Julie out in front of the house, and you indicating under oath a little over 5 minutes, I would say?
I mean, if you got it, sure. I mean,
Yes.
whatever you guys have.
Sure.
Tell
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
did it
Lally what
again.
page it is or something.
May I have that back for 2
Yes, sir.
seconds?
Yep. Thank you.
Just take a look at that highlighted portion and look up when you finish. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Megan, does that refresh your recollection?
Seemed that, yes.
Okay. Is it, in fact, was it your testimony that back in May of 2022, much closer to the event in question, that you indicated under oath that y'all were actually talking for closer to 5 minutes?
The whole thing, probably, yeah.
Okay. You indicated that you opened up the truck door, is that right?
I opened up my passenger door, correct?
So that does that, in a F-150, does that automatically open up the suicide door as well?
No, it does not. There's a handle
Okay.
on the inside of the door to open.
So
I was
just
gonna
the passenger
ask
door
that.
that was open.
Correct,
Glad
sir.
he did.
And your sister Julie would have been standing in the crook of that door, correct?
Yes.
So the door would sort of obstruct something to her right or toward the front of the truck.
Correct. That would be the door.
Right. How tall is the truck? Is it lifted?
It was, yes.
Okay. So that door is probably up above eye level.
It wasn't that high, no.
Okay. You indicated that while she was out there, you turned the music down so you could have a conversation with her.
Correct.
You talked about whether or not she wanted to come in the truck and leave, correct?
Say it again.
You talked about whether or not she wanted to get in the truck and leave.
I asked if she was coming, yes.
You also talked about whether or not you would come in the house and stay.
She asked that, yes.
Okay, so there was a conversation back and forth about either you staying at 34 Fairview or her leaving 34 Fairview and getting in the car.
Correct, sir.
There was also a conversation about whether or not you guys needed to give her a ride then, or if she could get a ride on her own after you guys left, if she wanted to stay.
Correct, sir, yes.
And part of that conversation included even talking about whether or not maybe her mom, your mom, would come get her after you guys left.
I would assume, maybe. 2 years ago.
Right, understood. But it's safe to say that there was a dialogue back and forth during which time you're engaged with your sister to your right. She's engaged with you looking straight ahead in the crook of the door when it's freezing cold out.
Correct.
All right. During this time, your attention is focused on your sister, obviously.
Yes.
At some point, she did decide to stay.
Yep.
And at that point, she then left the crook of the door. You would shut the door. I'm guessing you shut the door.
Yes, sir.
And then Ricky figured out, okay, we're gonna get out of here, and she's not coming with us.
Correct.
Did y'all wait long enough to see her go inside the house?
Just gradually pulling away and watched her walk in the house.
Okay, and that answers my next question. When you pulled away, you didn't speed away, correct?
Correct, sir.
Gradually, slowly pulled away and out and around the SUV that was in front of you.
Correct, sir, yes.
So y'all made up the distance at that point after you had this maybe 5-minute conversation with your sister. You made up the distance and got up to the SUV that was in front.
Yes.
All the taillights were intact.
To my acknowledgement, yes.
I mean, as you sit here,
And may I?
of course.
I mean, I'm not there to, look at a car and be like, oh, is there any damage on a vehicle? It's 12:30 at night. Obviously, I had a few drinks. I'm not looking for that. I just noticed that the
12:30
brake
at
lights
night.
were on.
Yeah,
The point
I'm
is,
writing
as
it
you
down.
sat there and you testified about this before, you noticed no damage on any of the taillights.
Not to my acknowledgement, no.
Okay, there's 3 taillights, one to the left, one to the right, and one center top.
Correct, sir.
And you didn't notice or note anything out of the ordinary with regard to the rear of that truck.
No, like I said, it was dark out.
At any point, did you see that SUV in front of you drive up 50 or 60 feet, slam into reverse, and then drive backward?
No.
At any point, did you see that SUV reverse and hit a pedestrian?
Objection.
Sir.
I'll allow that. You didn't see that, right?
At no point did you see a person laying on the lawn,
No, but I also wasn't looking.
but you didn't see it.
No.
And you did see the truck in front of you.
The SUV, yes.
The SUV in front of you.
Correct.
All right. You didn't see a person standing or lying on the ground anywhere around that SUV, did you?
No.
And it's not just that you didn't see that SUV hit a pedestrian. That did not happen while you were sitting there, did it?
Objection.
You can go ahead and answer that.
No, I did not.
After you drove away or drove up slowly in order to drive away, you were the passenger, or as you drove away, I should say, you were the passenger closest to the SUV as you would be passing it, correct?
Correct, sir, yes.
You looked out the right window of that F-150, correct?
Correct.
And you could actually see inside the SUV as it's sat there idling, correct?
Correct.
That's because the dome light was on. Isn't that right?
Correct, sir.
And you noticed that the dome light was on inside because you could clearly see what was happening inside the SUV at that time as you passed by.
And I wasn't directly looking inside. I was making sure my sister got in the house okay.
Right. But you did look inside that SUV.
As I passed by, yes.
And you saw one person.
That's all I saw at the time, yes.
Female with long hair. Is that
Correct.
right? You did not see anybody else inside that SUV.
No, not to my acknowledgement.
As a matter of fact, you were asked that in prior testimony, and you indicated in response to that basic question, no, she was alone. Correct?
Correct, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Just to be clear, sir, she was alone as far as you could see, correct?
Correct, sir, yes.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
You are all
Interesting.
set, Mr. Nagel. Thank you very much.
All right. Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Crime Spies. I will shout out to you for letting us use your stream a little bit tonight. I will check out her channel. Let's all check out her channel. Guys, Ryan's truly a witness, not the people in the house, but Ryan. He is truly a witness. There, he was not lying. You could tell he was cooperating. He was polite. He was doing everything to the best of his ability. When he didn't remember, he said it was 2 years ago. You could tell he was being truthful. I don't see him lying there at all. Do any of you? Do you guys see it? I don't see it. I don't. And he wasn't even being evasive. I did not see any evasiveness from him. He was just, yes, sir. No, sir. This is what I saw. This is what happened. I think that the 12:30 thing is huge because we know for a fact that Karen's phone synced with the Wi-Fi at John's house where she went at 12:36, 12:37, and it's for sure at least a 6 or 7 minute drive in good conditions. Right. So that means Karen would have had to have pulled off shortly after the young adults. So that means that John O'Keefe would have already had to have been hit prior to the young adults pulling up in the truck, already laying on the ground. There is no way or no time for that. If she hit him, like they're saying, CW is saying, for that to happen, because they would have witnessed it then. The young adults would have witnessed it. They also are saying that she was the only one in the car. Dome light was on, and we'll listen to Heather next week, but we know she said it the first time around, and we know that Ricky said it the first time around. So they are giving an accurate depiction of where this SUV was. It turned in front of them because they flashed their lights and let Karen turn in front of them. They were behind her then going down the street. He said we were behind them the whole way. So she couldn't have hit John because they would have witnessed it. She couldn't have hit John after because they would have witnessed it. And then that doesn't sync with all of Jen McCabe's crap about how every time she peeked out, Karen was still there. Karen was still there. It doesn't line up. When we listen to Jen and Matt McCabe's testimony, and I'm going to clip pieces of Ryan and Heather and Ricky so that we can play those when we're doing Jen and Matt. And this is all going to be, they have to focus in on this, right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that they're going to have to, but it's very interesting that he said at 12:30. Now, again, it could have just been approximated, but even if it was, 5 minutes either way, 12:25, 12:35. Well, we know from, I mean, again, assuming that Hank Breenan's new information is valid, she would have been gone at 12:35, and she would have been there at 12:25. So none of that would have changed. Now, if only there was that 60-minute interval that at 12:31, all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and you saw something of like the hypothetical that I showed with my car, that could have happened after they left. Supposedly, again, allegedly, disclaimer, this is just the scuttlebutt, that supposedly people heard people in the car talk about how as the truck was leaving, the F-150, that was what Ricky and Ryan were just in.
Right.
That, again, allegedly, Karen followed shortly thereafter, if not like immediately thereafter.
Right.
Again, that's just scuttlebutt on the street. Now, again, Breenan is probably looking at that saying, yep, of course, see, because that would have happened and, they wouldn't have seen it, but then they would have seen her follow and the timeline 1232, blah, blah, blah. But we just saw a hypothetical scenario that, again, doesn't jive with the Commonwealth's theory of she struck him there and this happened and he lined up and he did this and stood there and broke this here, and then, took off like a bat out of hell banshee. So
exactly.
That's all reasonable doubt, by the way. That's, again, this is all, the hypothetical is just for reasonable doubt that says, like, like they're already, like spiking the ball before they even get in the end zone.
Right.
So,
well, I'll clip.
Okay.
I'll clip a little bit of Ryan's key statements so we can use those for next week when we hear Heather and Ricky, and then we'll listen to Sarah as well next week. I want to read something to you. My friend Kathy Coppins, who's been in the chat tonight, she sent this to me earlier. Aiden posted this. It said 6 minutes ago. Kathy sent this to me at 9:49 p.m. Eastern time. Last week, at Better Roll Law, wrote a letter to Chief Rafferty asking her to do something about Chris Albert illegally wiretapping people in front of his pizza shop. Yesterday, Rafferty informed him that she was conflicted, so she had referred it to the Norfolk County DA's office. They are also conflicted. So Betterow wrote Meatball Morrissey a letter in which it was revealed for the first time that Julie Albert wrote the DA's office and may have editorial control over Morrissey's hostage video.
Yep. Yeah, that came out. That came out a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
How did I miss this? What does this mean?
So that came out in the emails that I guess that Turtle got from Morrissey. That went back and forth. That there was a statement saying it was they didn't know who it was from, but it said a reference to Julie. And it was Chris Albert referencing a Julie. So they weren't sure, but they said, oh, is it Julie Albert? And it turns out, I guess it is.
But how in the world is Julie Albert in charge of editorial control?
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be the whole case. It seems like, again, Julie Albert married to Chris Albert. Chris Albert seems to be the dawn of everything. So I don't know.
Unbelievable. This is all news to me, guys. I thank you, Kathy. Appreciate you sharing this. Thank you so much. Well, we'll have to dig into that more next Friday night with Friday Night Lies. And I want to share with you guys one more thing before we close off tonight. I got a note from my mom today that I have been summoned to jury duty in Wisconsin. And what are the odds of that, people? I've been retired for a long time. I have never been summoned to jury duty because most ex-cops, retired cops, do not get summoned to jury duty. And when and if we do, we typically get dismissed. We were just talking about this last Friday Night Lies with the Happily Angry Lawyer, because we were talking about the supposed cop who was the foreman. Bev made him the foreman, and he was supposedly an ex-cop, and I had never really heard of ex-cops even making it onto juries because usually they get weeded out. And then someone else had posted too that they were a retired officer and that they got called once, but they got dismissed right away in the beginning. And I was saying how I've never been called to jury duty. Even before I was a police officer, I was never called to jury duty for some reason.
Really? I seem to always get picked.
Unbelievable. So all of the Blue Sky now, I haven't read it yet. I don't know what the dates are. I don't know what it's all about. I've got to look into it. And then, so earlier today, Shauna, or was that you or Shauna that made the funny about how maybe they're calling me to jury duty?
Oh yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Right. To be an unbiased juror in Canton, Massachusetts.
That's why Bev's hitting the gas so hard, because
oh my gosh, you guys.
Her jury impanelment cooperation that she has goes as far reaching as Wisconsin.
This is crazy. Jury duty, cool. Well, we'll see how cool it is. How long I have to be up there. And I'm supposed to have my knee surgery, my right knee surgery in July. I'm going to a Coldplay concert with my friend Michelle, and then I'm supposed to have knee surgery like 3 days later. So we will see. Hey, Willie B, you're still with us. So Willie B says, Julie A, long-haired witness. She is connected to IT guy, IMO. I'll keep searching. Oh yeah, Julie Albert. Yes, that's her, Willie B. She is the long-haired blonde witness. That's Chris Albert's wife. Okay, this is coming together now for me.
So the IT guy. So I know that Matt McCabe, his business, or I don't know if he owns his business or his career
Right.
is in some type
Yes,
of like
he
computers.
does. He
So,
does
yeah.
own his own business with some
Yeah.
other
Okay.
3 other dudes, 3 other decorated dudes. No, not really. Just kidding. All right, I have to show you the picture that this is what the puppy was up to while we were live streaming
Oh yeah,
tonight.
yeah, yeah.
Let me remove this other thing from the screen here.
Oh, the pizza people. Yep. Oh yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about, Willie.
hang on. It's making me remove something first. There we go. I'll put up what Willie's saying here in just a second. I just want to show you guys what the puppy was up to while we have been live streaming for 3 hours. So let me quick go. I put it right at the beginning after the psychology stuff we were talking about earlier. This was the one on the left is
Look at him.
the one on the left is the second to most recent. The one on the right was way back like 2 hours ago when he got into first got into all my papers that I had on that shelf there back there and was tearing up stuff. And I just let him tear it. I usually take screenshots of everything before I throw it away anyway. So he dumped his toy box out within the first 10 minutes. The toy box is over here to the right, stage right somewhere. He dumped the whole toy box out and put every toy on the floor. Then he found my papers. Then he crashed out. Then he got tired of being on the floor. So he went and laid in the puppy bed. And now this is where he is right now. And
he's got
white papers on his back. He's got
little destructo.
He is absolutely an absolute joy. He's the best. Well, Zelda was an amazing service animal for me, but so far he's right up there and he's amazing. And yes, I'm going to get next week when we do all the young adults. Hopefully I won't have a stomach ache, Willie, and I am getting pizza for sure. MCAT says, OMG, hilarious. Yes. So this is what my looks like now. I got a big mess to clean up and I got to do, but I laughed so hard when I turned over when you were talking before and saw that he has white paper or whatever he chewed up of mine is actually on his fur. And today he got in this huge wrestling match with the 91-pound Doberman, who's very gentle and does a really good job. But they were in the backyard and all this spring leaf drop stuff is happening. So he was covered in these tiny little baby leaves. I had to brush him for like 20 minutes, but he's great. He's great. Yeah, thank you. He's wonderful. He's almost 16 weeks already. I cannot believe it. And he gave me his paw for the first time today. My son Zach and I have been training him, give me your paw, and he didn't do it. So I would pick it up every time. And today I went to hold his treat out and he immediately lifted up his paw before I even said, give me your paw. So that was a huge milestone today, guys. That was pretty darn cool. So the Doberman's been behaving. He has not chased any more squirrels to their death, and he has not brought a possum back in the house yet. So since the first time, back when we first started live streaming Friday Night Live, Zeus, my son's dog, the Doberman, brought a possum in the house. So
he made a friend.
So we have made friends in this journey since we all met through the Karen Reed trial, and I have met other people as I have met other victims, families of crimes, and have become close with them. And now you are helping me on Wednesdays and Thursdays stand for our other victims and their families. And I really, really appreciate that. And we have to remember, not only are we standing for Karen Reed, hoping that she will be free and this fiasco will be over soon, but we are standing for justice for John O'Keefe. I don't know what that's going to look like, given that they completely trashed the crime scene, did not protect the crime scene, did not interview witnesses in a timely manner, did not separate witnesses at the scene, did not put up crime scene tape, left the scene unattended. On and on and on, never interviewed anybody in the house, didn't interview the kids in the truck for months and months and months and months. I don't know what this looks like for him anymore, but right now he wouldn't want the wrong person going to jail. And we are all convinced that watch my channel and that watch all the other YouTubers and live streamers and content creators for Free Karen Reed, that she did not hit him, that it's not possible. The science isn't there for it. And even if she did hit him, the frame job was so bad, they botched everything so bad that they screwed up because they really, truly, in my mind, they believed that she was going to take a plea deal, that she was just going to plea out for the manslaughter. They never in a million years thought it would get this far, be a hung jury, have a second trial when they did all this framing of her, because they knew they were going to be destroying all the evidence. They knew they were going to be tampering with evidence. They knew they would never be able to convict the real people, because that's what their point is. Their point was to cover for the people who actually hurt and killed John O'Keefe. So that's where we're at. And we've got many more weeks to go now with our Friday Night Lies, going over the testimony and hearing what we believe are either lies or truth or shenanigans, evasiveness, right? Or all of the above. And we didn't really feel that with Ricky. We really felt that he was being as truthful as he could. We'll see when we listen to Heather and Ricky, right? Maybe Heather and Ricky will have something that makes me wonder about Ryan. But the only thing Ryan lied about, though, and so I guess we do have to, they didn't come right and ask him, why were you there? Did you find it odd that your sister changed her mind right at the last time? I don't remember Jackson asking him that. Did he?
I can't remember what, I mean, God, fucking Lally's just awful when it comes
I
to,
know,
and
I know.
I mean, he sneaks stuff in there too. Like he snuck, I forget what he snuck in. He snuck in the snow, and then he snuck in the, well, did you see the dome light inside? And then we're like, okay, and then what happened when you went to your house? So like he like sneaks in these things, but I don't know if they addressed why they showed up.
But they're gonna, I think they should lean into that.
Right?
I think they should lean into that a little bit. But again, they're not trying, they're not trying to blame or convict if they were dropping off marijuana. Let's just say that was a marijuana drop, right? That there's nothing more, in my opinion, it would have been to Brian Albert Jr. and Julie Nagel. I just don't think so, in the home of Brian Albert. So let's just say it was a marijuana drop, and that's what they were doing. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's a lot of scuttlebutt about that. I don't think so. I still think it's just suspect that she would call for a ride and then completely change her mind. Why, right? Why would she do that? So I think they should lean into that a little bit, maybe to make them a little bit uncomfortable. But I think the key thing to lean into is that we'll find out next week when we hear Heather again for sure, and Ricky. But they didn't see John O'Keefe in the car. They didn't see John O'Keefe laying in the yard. That's because he was in the freaking house. And there's no other explanation for that. These are your witnesses. These people exonerate Karen, in my opinion. And of course the science does too, but so much does, because all we're looking for is reasonable doubt. We're not looking to convict anybody yet at this point, and they don't have to. The defense doesn't have to prove who actually killed John. They just have to make sure the jury understands that there is way too much reasonable doubt for anybody to convict Karen. So that's just where we're going to end tonight. And then MCAT says, oh, I don't remember if question was asked about Julie not taking Lyft home. Oh yeah, right, exactly. So why was Sarah, you mean Sarah possibly, right? Sarah, oh, right. Julie, right. But then again, she came with Sarah. And so you would have thought maybe they would have gotten a ride home together. Why would she just call her brother to give her a ride home and leave Sarah behind, right? Because it was already getting late and they had already been there for a long time. Somebody higher up in the chat box brought that up and mentioned it. And then now MCAT says, and Sarah was never mentioned regarding leaving. That is odd. Yeah, exactly. I think you said that earlier on, MCAT. So we have a lot more to dish about next week. And again, I really feel for these three young adults because they got brought into this unwittingly. And something that I posted on Twitter today that I knew we weren't going to get to it tonight, but I want you guys to think about. And I said something to this effect. It's on my Twitter X if you want to go check it out. I said, did Karen Reed unwittingly frame herself due to her normal and natural trauma reaction to what happened? Because of the way her own body chemistry is reacting to stress and trauma. We all react differently to stress and trauma. We talked about that at the very beginning tonight, 3 hours ago. So think about that, and we'll talk about that next week. MCAT says she'll be a little late. She has to go to ORD, and I'll let you know if we're going to go earlier next Friday. It will be based on the March Madness, because you guys know I'm a huge geek, and my Badgers are in it and still alive, and so I'm going to go watch the rest of the Michigan State game, and they were actually tied with the
Their
number.
coach is losing their mind.
Scary thing, because one of my dearest friends, Jeannie, is a Michigan State grad and she bleeds green. So I'm very scared at what I'm going to see when I go out into my living room to watch the rest of this game. So I will let you know, based on if there's a game I really need to watch next Friday. We may go a little earlier. We may go Friday night late next week. So I'll keep you all posted on the YouTube platform. Julie, you are the best. You are the bomb. We love you. You're the queen of Reconstruction. And
I don't know about that.
we look forward to seeing you next Friday. Thanks to everybody who stuck it out with us tonight during the technical issues that I figured out were my error because of the puppy playing with my cord, and it caused my battery to go low, which wouldn't let the video play properly. But we had Julie, and we had Julie's reconstruction videos to allow me to figure that out. So we still got to listen to Ryan, and I look forward to seeing you all next Friday, and we'll finish updating. God only knows what I say this every time I end Friday Night Lies. God only knows what's going to happen next week with the Karen Reed trial. It is really just one thing after the other. So free Karen Reed, justice for John O'Keefe. Please join me next Wednesday and Thursday. Angry Bitch Club on Wednesday. We'll be going over the Florida cases that I'm working on we have huge updates for both cases, and we're praying that we'll get some results based on these updates. We have a lot going on with both those cases. And then next Thursday, we will be off because of March Madness. My Badgers will hopefully be playing because they'll still hopefully be alive. So we will be on Wednesday night and Friday night. And I appreciate you all so much. I'm going to play us out with our theme song from our creative department. We love our theme song and our video. And take care, everyone. It's just us. Justice for all victims of crimes and their families. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night and happy March Madness.
Night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Love you all in the live. Thank you, Replay. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, Julie. Craziest person on earth. You are welcome. My pleasure. My honor.
They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badger name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight the heavy wounds, undo the harm, calling out corruption. We'll stand tall for justice and truth. We'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.